has been a rumor.
I love it.
That movie the
Well,
worst.
well, folks, that
Because I
was
saw
wild.
theories, you know.
Well, that was wild. That was nuts. Welcome back to the Star Wars Guys podcast. What's going on?
Is this Star Wars or what?
On program.
On program.
Well, this is Johnny Carson, and next we have Cal Kestis on the show.
Alex, welcome, buddy. Welcome.
Trying to think of
chat,
what the
everybody.
oldest possible reference could be
Right.
that anyone would still have any idea we're saying.
Buddy Hackett.
Mike, hit him with the intro.
Well, I was doing the intro, and
Trying to.
next there's a wild, wacky Jedi named Ahsoka Tano. I don't know. Welcome back to the Star Wars Guys podcast. We are your hosts, as always. I am. Well, sure. Who am I?
Sure. You are
I
loud.
am.
Sure,
Yeah. I am Mike. This is Nate, and you know him well. Uncle Plot.
Uncle.
That's
God.
right.
And he's back. He's back.
One
back.
quarter portion.
He's back. Uncle's back.
Are you doing? Are
He's
you
back.
doing Harry
Voldemort's back.
reacting to Cedric Diggory's?
Somehow
He's
Uncle.
back. He's
Somehow
back.
Uncle has returned.
Voldemort's back.
Somehow.
Hey,
Uncle has returned.
little Star Wars moment, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's good
So-
to finally have a Star Wars moment on this
So I'm
show.
watching the 1980s classic starring Peter McNichol.
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
knows
Yes, of
Dragon
course, of
Slayer,
course.
right? Who do I see as the cleric standing toe to toe with the dragon, burned by flames, but young Ian McDermott? I was like, no way! It's Ian
Yes.
McDermott.
So great.
I love it.
I've seen that movie. I didn't even know it was him. So that's my Star Wars.
Any Ian McDermott is good Ian McDermott for me. I want more.
He was
I love
weaker
it.
in this. He just died.
More
So-
like limited power, am I right?
Limited power. Yeah.
That's a reference.
Very limited power.
That was a reference from I believe it was Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Good flick.
Yeah, welcome, everybody.
Nate, where can the people find us?
in the chat. Welcome,
wrap
welcome,
it up.
welcome. Yeah, we got a fun one for you today. We are
Checking our
looking
volumes.
into the future. We are we're looking
Hey,
into,
Scott.
we're looking into 2023 Star Wars, ranking what we are most looking forward to,
Ooh.
and also I thought about this. Maybe add a little ranking what we think after seeing them, what we would view as our favorites.
Oh.
Oh,
So
wait.
that's
I
why
like-
we're gonna be in the
most
future looking
anticipated,
back.
but then also which
This is
ones do you
great.
think might surprise you in our?
Wait,
Ooh.
I am so excited to contradict myself and be
I love it.
I am most excited for this show. And I'm guessing that after that show, I should have been more excited for something else.
I
I
the other
think
one.
this
Yeah,
one will be
absolutely.
surprising.
This is great. I love it.
If we get it.
I love it.
Hey, we're gonna
There
run
were
it. And
some
then obviously in doing so, as we discuss each show and stuff coming in 2023, we'll talk. We'll throw out some theories and why we're excited about it, what we might think could happen, some possibilities.
We should have done this for 2022 also, because we just finished a great year of a lot of Star
We
Wars.
did.
We did.
This
We
is,
did.
but we'll start fresh with 2023, and we'll
Yeah.
see if it's a good year for us for the podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of this year, we'll
If you
give away
guys have
another
followed-
Funko Pop.
yeah. If
Stick
you-
around.
Stick
If you've
around.
followed
Might
our
be a big one.
podcast in the past, you know that we've never been wrong about a single prediction. Hence
Never.
Mace Windu being in
The obvious
Mando,
choice to
which
come and train
obviously He
Grogu.
was, and
It's really Mace Windu rising from the dead is really the only thing that makes sense.
it's the only, no.
Has
Luke,
to be.
That might
Luke
be
is
on
around, and I don't know, maybe the most well-known person in the galaxy
It's
could
down
not
the street.
appear.
And in our
Literally.
defense, I think we said over and over on the podcast, Luke makes the most sense, but they just can't do that.
No.
They can't do
They can't.
that.
Well, how would they do it?
How could they
We're
ever
going to
do that?
recast. We're going to do Sebastian Stan playing.
It's impossible.
We have the Winter
It's for a
Soldier.
computer.
We have the Winter Soldier playing Luke Jedi. Luke
Yeah.
Jedi.
Luke Jedi. Yeah.
That's his name now.
So-
There's still
Luke
that
Jedi.
rumor going around. Sebastian Stan's going to show up somewhere. I've heard that.
I think he'll show
He
up in a
should play
Marvel
him in,
project.
like Luke should appear in an animated in an animated one of the animated shows, but
Yeah.
not even
Have-
the
Luke-
easiest thing to
That
have
would be
Mark
so
Hamill do.
confusing.
The easiest
But
thing
get
to have
Sebastian
Mark
Stan
Hamill
do the voice
There you go,
Ooh.
Sebastian Stan.
with.
I'm still on this Luke and anime. I think Luke and Dragon Ball Z would be very fun.
That would be good.
I
In
think that'd
Visions.
be- that would be very good. Visions 2 is coming soon.
Yeah.
Ooh, Visions 2.
I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, is there a certain show that you guys want to start with?
Hey, let me throw something out real quick. Those of you who are already with us, tell us if the sound is a little weird. We had to fiddle with some
true.
settings. So if it's a little weird, tell us and we'll try to
we'll
fix
adjust if
Yeah.
anybody's quiet or too loud.
it. Yeah.
We'll fiddle like the devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
for a soul to steal. Well, that was wild. And that's, I don't get that reference because that was after my
Wild,
time.
wacky
That was wild, wacky stuff.
Is there a certain show you guys want to start with? And
Rank-
just
well,
kinda,
so
are we
we're-
gonna do a thumbs up ranking?
January 4.
Wait, how do we thumbs up rank something?
Ooh,
No.
I just want to know the process of
good
that.
or bad?
Good or bad?
Acolyte.
Like this
will we
versus-
rank it?
Boo.
We will
No,
not
but
rank
like
it.
like thumbs up. More excited for this over this.
Oh,
a little
okay.
battle. Now that feels more
Got
a
it.
little
old school.
battle,
I
and then
think
that progresses, and then that kind
little
of
bracket
love
racket.
that.
starts
All
our
right.
ranking.
All
I
right.
like it.
You want to start right at the beginning, January 4 with
I think we should do a little Bad
Oh,
Batch.
Bad Batch.
Bad
It's our
Batch
first.
versus-
of the-
Ooh, maybe we do animated. Let's do Bad Batch versus Visions 2. Vision Season 2.
Ooh.
Okay. What is this first one's? What are you most looking forward to?
Wait, Ray. Bad Batch versus Vision Season 2. You put your thumb out because it doesn't make any sense. We don't know what the
I
rating
go with
is.
that.
Thumbs up
Who knows
for
this?
Visions.
Yes.
Thumbs down for Bad Batch. Is that what we're doing?
Ooh. Up for Visions, down for Bad Batch. you
Okay.
say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we should clarify whoever's on the table. We just say
Yeah.
Bad Batch is on the table, and
Are they
they're
moving through?
versing
Yeah.
Visions.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bad Batch would be a yes.
Okay. So
Bad Batch
is
moving
a
through,
thumbs up.
yes or no?
Whoever's
Yeah.
on the table is the yes.
Yeah.
And Bad Batch is on the table. The challenger. Is
Okay.
For
Visions.
sure. And we
Is that
should say,
okay?
we'll take 30 seconds before we vote on it. Thoughts about Bad Batch Season 1 and thoughts about Vision Season 1. How excited are we for each of those? You don't have to tip your hand and let you know, like, oh, I'm so much more excited. But what do we think of the first season of each of these?
I love that I'm excited for them for the complete opposite reasons. I'm excited for Bad Batch because I want to see a continuation of the story. I'm excited for Visions because there's no continuation of the story. It's
It's
completely
true.
new.
Completely no
I'm
restraints.
excited for
Absolutely.
the complete opposite reasons.
I
Which
want
actually
Jedi
makes this
rock
kind of a
bands,
hard
yeah.
matchup, I think.
It does.
It is tough.
Because I'm looking forward to Bad Batch, but also I'm excited to get some new stories and
Also,
visions.
you get Visions all like to just roll them out at once, right? At
yeah.
least that's time
At
they
least-
did.
yeah, they did
this,
nice
is,
stuff.
this is a tough.
That's true.
All right, which team is better? Who would win? The New York Yankees or the Boston Celtics? Well, what sport are we playing? I don't even know.
What
There's
sport are we
there's a
playing?
different.
That's true.
Horse racing.
That's
true.
Yeah, this is. I'm excited for both these shows. I think you hit it. I like that. Whenever initially there's a show or there's a book that sometimes is announced and it's like, oh, this is not necessarily canon. For someone who really loves a lot of canon stuff and likes feeling like I'm investing in something that ties into the bigger narrative,
Yeah.
a lot of times if I hear something's not canon, I'll sometimes go, oh, dang, that kind of feels a little bit lesser. But I think Visions is a great example of great storytelling that because it benefited by not being in the restraints, not having to fit into this.
Yeah.
Give me a Jedi rock band just rocking out. Give me
Jedi
some
rock band.
Give me some twins. Give me a bunch of just
man.
wild, wacky stuff. And apparently he's going to this impression all night. But
A shark.
Oh, now he switches to Jay Leno out of nowhere. So, yeah, well, we got a great,
Don't forget Fallon.
yeah, it was a great thing. I think that it's so great, it's unbelievable.
this is Jimmy Fallon just laughing. I am very excited for both of these, and I'll stop talking. Uncle, anything to say before we put it on the table?
So, like you said, things about canon. What's interesting about Vision, sometimes things will not be canon, but will lean into a direction to go, hey,
Yeah, that's a
we're gonna
reference.
we're gonna pull that into this and
Yeah.
go with it. So
like the pod racing.
like the pod race. So
Yeah.
anything. So
And there's also
we
I
could
know
be
they
laying the
came out.
groundwork for things that we
I know they
see.
came out with a Ronin novel soon after
yeah.
they came
Right.
out with that episode that
Right.
I know a lot of people's a
That
lot
was
of
awesome.
it was a great episode, and then immediately they came out with a book soon afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's
What
also
great
it's also
way
a
to
testing ground.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
test ideas and
Like, yeah,
stories,
we're
and then
just-
be like,
we're
oh,
just messing around.
everybody loved
Yeah.
this one. Okay, let's go make an entire thing for it.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So
Bad Batch on the table versus
Bad
Visions?
Batch is on the
A
table.
yes vote is for Bad Batch. A no vote is for the challenger.
Okay.
Visions.
So we're voting whether or not to push to advance Bad Batch.
Bad
yes,
Batch will push through.
to
Yep.
push through. No, to be defeated.
I
Finish
believe,
him.
I believe
don't
there is an emoji for thumbs up and thumbs down.
Oh,
if
yes.
I'm familiar. So
know. Yeah,
feel free.
Yeah.
feel free.
Give us your votes in
Thumbs
chat.
up for Bad
Give us
Batch.
your votes. Thumbs up for Bad Batch.
Not that it's better, but that's
yeah,
just
this
the
is
one
not
that's
a
on the
thumbs
table.
down as
Just
in you
the-
don't want
just-
Visions.
yeah.
It's just a way to.
It's just which of these, if
Yeah.
you had to choose one of them, not that you can choose one over the other, like I only want to watch this or this. It's just which one are you a little bit more excited about moving forward?
There
Yeah.
you go.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
All of us.
unanimous.
Unanimous.
Yes, Bad Batch. Now I will say, this might be one I contradict myself
You might come back and go, wait a minute.
because I don't know the story of Visions.
Eliminates
I-
2 voting systems. Now I can already see that I made a
know,
mistake.
listen.
I'm completely wrong.
The
I'm
thing-
completely wrong. 5 seconds
I'm
later, I can see that.
I'm most excited for Bad Batch because I understand the story where it's at and I want to see where it goes. Now,
Yeah.
because I don't know what's coming in Visions 2, it could very well, there could be some stories in there that I'm like, okay, I
That was
like
great.
that
Mhm.
more. I like that more. That now ranks over Bad Batch
Right.
because I don't know the stories that are coming.
Yeah.
So I think it could Visions could pass up
surprise us.
after we see everything.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm also excited about for both of these shows?
We got a thumbs down in chat too.
Oh, nice. I
Ooh,
like
alright.
I
it.
like it.
What I'm excited about for
Visions is
both
so
of these
good.
shows is that Star Wars, the Disney era of Star Wars with
It's Star
well,
Wars.
even pre-Disney, because Cartoon Network with Clone Wars and then obviously finishing on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Star Wars has a history of its animated shows starting a little bit smaller, a little bit slower, and then, wow, I can't believe season 3 we have Thrawn in Rebels.
Right.
We're like,
I know.
like I grew up reading Thrawn books in
I know.
in the 90s. Now all of a sudden this show that started with Mei-Lu runs and Kane, I just gotta find my parents. And now it's
Right.
now it's actually Ian McDermott voicing the Emperor.
Yeah.
World between worlds, all this stuff happening. I'm
By
like,
the
way, he's
what
back
is
for Bad
going
Batch,
on?
too.
The full thing.
I know.
McDermott's back for Bad Batch too.
Just
I
let
love
him
it.
do it. Let him
And they
do
even
it all.
showed him in the latest trailer that came out the other day.
Let him do it all. So all that to say, both Visions could really take even some bigger swings of like,
That's what
cool.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
that was great. We're gonna go even bigger for these
Right.
next ones because people responded to it and really liked it. And
And I just love the creativity too of how each thing's just its own style.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Absolutely.
also it hasn't been announced yet, but give me more Tales of the Jedi.
Dude.
Give
For
me
sure.
more.
That'll
If we-
happen.
If we had to
Man.
rank 2022 things, I can tell you that
Throw
would be
them-
high up on my list.
Oh
Mine
yeah.
too. Mine too.
Yeah.
That would be
Which
very high up on my list.
what else we got here? Is Bad Batch so how are we doing this? Is Bad Batch staying on until it gets passed?
So
Bad
it's
Batch
advanced
stays
to the
on.
next round, and now you got to do the other first
We
round
should think of
matchups.
another system because our chat's gonna be filled with thumbs down the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
like, what's what are these
Everyone-
guys doing?
everyone-
Everybody hates their show.
That's true. We
Another
can do 1
thumbs
and
down.
2.
Just kidding. No, that's fine. Then it'll
Um,
be full of poop all the thing. Number 2's all the way through the whole thing.
There's there's no, yeah, there's,
Nah,
It's,
just
it's
kidding.
a,
It's
yeah,
great.
lose
Just kidding.
lose.
Okay.
What else do we want to put it up against? Bad Batch versus what? We got Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, Young Jedi Adventures, Mando season 3, Ahsoka.
Man,
do we go
Dope.
just
those are
watch
some gorillas over there, man. Some like
some
100-pound.
we have what
500-pound gorillas. It's gonna be hard to
we
knock
have
off.
literally the pillar of Disney Plus
Whew.
in the Mandalorian,
Mando.
of what actually started all of Disney Plus,
Mhm.
along with The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
Can't forget about that.
That's season 1. It
True.
was great, and Noelle featuring
What
Anna
if
Kendrick.
do we keep it animated and go against Young Jedi Adventures next?
Do we know anything about this?
I know nothing about it. Skip it. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm sure it'll be
I don't
great.
know
I have
anything
no
Is it
idea.
young Jedi that we don't know, or young Jedi that we do know?
I think it's
In other words,
Young
is it-
Jedi that we don't know adventures.
Don't know. Okay.
But even that, I really don't know because I don't know hardly anything about it.
Right.
It's
Like
Young
so, if I
Jedi-
said young
it's
Yoda, you're like,
Young Jedi,
okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know
If I
adventures.
see young Yoda,
but
like a nice, like adolescent 500-year-old
Whoa.
Yoda,
yeah, just
Yeah.
I think
spry.
it's all
like
Ahsoka,
he's just
is it
starting
not?
to shave.
Exactly.
500
Is it not
years
all
His
old.
voice, is,
Ahsoka?
his voice is
His
cracking.
voice is cracking.
Yoda speak.
This is cracking.
Yoda goes to college year 400.
He's doing the
It's
Brady
all
Bunch
just
thing.
Grogu.
I love
Shorts.
it. Yoda goes to college year 400. He's got like a little like soul patch.
Yeah,
he's just
he's-
growing it out. He's
Growing it in.
he's got a little bit of
Oh man,
I
yeah,
love it.
I know nothing about this one to be
All right.
honest.
Okay.
Bad
Bad
Batch,
Batch
Bad
pushes
Batch.
through.
Oh, all right. Someone else throw one out. We got Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, Mando season 3.
Oh, it's getting
Ahsoka.
interesting.
This is hard.
Skeleton Crew really sounds interesting. To
Ooh,
me.
speaking
Sounds
of which,
interesting
did
to
you
me.
hear? Did you see the little update on Skeleton Crew this week?
No, fill us in.
Skeleton Crew, according to some
Jeff
of
Goldblum?
I believe it was Making Star Wars, who breaks a lot of like news about production and stuff.
Yeah.
Reportedly, Skeleton Crew will, and I took a screenshot to make sure I don't mess up the wording.
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up.
Well, this is what we call a telephone. Back in my day, this was more of a camera. This is, let's see, here we go.
Don't mess it up.
Skeleton Crew, Making Star Wars, reports that Skeleton Crew will explore the origins of the Night Sisters. We'll be part of that show.
Disney's going dark on
They're
us.
going
between that and
so
Acolyte?
how quickly do we push this through?
So that
Man.
Live action Night Sisters?
Boy.
Now, I'm not even talking Acolyte, because that Acolyte's.
Yeah.
This says
I know.
according to this Skeleton Crew. But I think Skeleton Crew they initially said was supposed to be. Didn't they initially say Skeleton Crew was? No, maybe they didn't give a time period yet on Skeleton Crew. I kind of thought that
No,
it was.
It's next year, but
No, time period in
Setting.
canon.
Setting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know what.
But that's what they were saying.
Interesting.
So
Is that what we're
What's that?
going up against? Bad Batch, Skeleton
Bad
Crew.
Batch Skeleton
It's
Crew.
fine with me.
Thumbs up for Bad Batch.
Bad
thumbs
Batch
down
is on
for
the table.
Skeleton Crew. Chat, give us your votes.
Wait, which thumbs up for what? Bad Batch is on the
Bad
table?
Batch. to
Bad
push
Batch.
through.
Thumbs
Skeleton
up.
Crew is a
Skeleton if you're Skeleton.
Gosh.
Thumbs down
All right.
if you're more excited for Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. I need a second.
I know this is as a champion, as someone who loves to champion Bad Batch, and I think that more people need to be watching Bad Batch. This is a tough vote for me because I don't know.
It is a tough vote, although I do know.
Okay.
I do. 3, 2, 1.
Stick
Oh,
with Bad Batch.
I love it.
Bad
Still with
Batch.
Bad Batch. Yep.
I love
Explain
Bad
yourself.
Batch.
Explain
I
yourself.
feel like
I
Bad
am,
Batch is just
I
getting
am
started.
counting on I'm counting on Boba Fett intersecting with Omega, and I want
Oh my
to see
gosh.
that
Alpha and
path
Omega.
and the mystery of who Alpha, how it's going to play out with the brothers, and
I love it.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited. I'm very
And
excited. For
Acolyte-
Bad
I mean,
Batch.
and Skeleton Crew, the concept sounds great.
but it's
I'm not
But
sure.
you have no tie
There's
to
a lot
it.
of
Yeah.
unknowns. There's a lot of
No.
unknowns.
I've just seen that goofy picture of Jude Law. That's all I have so
Right.
far to go off.
I
of.
mean,
know.
does
which is
Dumbledore
great.
really belong in?
I love they take
Yeah.
a picture and they're like, "Here's this picture of him. Look, he's on set." And we
Look.
start filming a year and a half from now. Well, then what was that? They
Yeah,
literally
I
threw
know.
him out in the
It's
wilderness.
green
and took a
screen. He's not
picture
even
of him.
there.
I
Yeah.
think, I just when I first heard this idea of it kind of being like a younger, like a Stranger Things type, and that makes sense, I guess. Now that we're hearing more, that it's kind of following the Night Sisters. That makes more sense.
Can't
about-
help it. Never hear it. My brain goes.
Night sisters, you know how to do it.
I love it.
Night sisters, you know how to do it.
I love it. That should
I
have been
love
our
it.
intro. Man, next time
For
I can sing.
for next.
Cough is still.
Night sisters, night
Wait,
sister.
what are we gonna do for if we actually get confirmation or see in a trailer that it has something to do with the Night Sisters, and then it's the premiere, and we're coming on here to do our first reactions to the premiere? Are we all gonna? Is it gonna do our countdown to start the episode? It cuts to us, and all three of us are standing up with mic stands.
Night sisters, night sisters.
Disco ball hanging right there.
And we're just
It
gonna be
comes down.
we're gonna be dressed in the attire too.
So good.
You can move it.
I
I
love
love it.
it. I love it.
It's gonna be
Okay.
Wednesday
Man.
Night Fever. 'cause
Wednesday,
that's,
Wednesday Night
ooh.
Fever.
Ooh,
yeah,
sure,
sure.
yeah.
That's
hot.
Back to the
Uh,
podcast.
Yeah.
So I love
All right.
it. That was
I
50
love
Bad
it.
Batch is
for me.
off
I
the
love it.
table.
Sadly.
Yeah, I think because of the Stranger Things is starting to make a little more sense with the Night Sisters, that kind of being the route that it's going to go. And you're right, there's a lot of unknowns because we don't know a ton about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
And who's to say that's the
what we do
that
know
could be a
sounds
small
interesting.
thing. Like that might not be the crux of the show, is them
Yeah.
investigating
Yeah.
the Night Sisters.
Could
or
be
anything,
cool.
But
So
Yeah,
no,
very cool.
interesting. It just sounds right at this point, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, but I really am just like some of the stuff I'm most looking forward to are like just like new,
Mhm.
fresh like stories,
somewhere
like new things. Part of the reason why I loved Andor,
Yeah.
it's just different, and I loved Mando. And when Mando came out, it was different.
Totally different.
And I'm still looking forward to Mando the next season because I love Mando. But it is nice hearing that these, especially all just next year, we got a bunch of different stories
Yeah.
coming, and it's like, wow, it's interesting. But yeah,
Love it.
all right.
What do we got?
I don't know. Pick one. What do you got between Acolyte, Mando,
Ooh.
and Ahsoka?
Acolyte.
Let's do Acolyte versus Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Acolyte, Skeleton Crew.
All right, Skeleton Crew at
Ooh.
1, so
Skeleton
it's on the
Crew
table.
is the thumbs up.
All right.
Skeleton Crew is
I'm ready to vote.
Skeleton Crew is thumbs up.
Any
Acolyte's thumbs
pre-discussion? Throwing it out there.
down. Yeah, pre-discussion. Did you guys see any of the leaks that came out for Acolyte?
Like, you mean just the
photos?
pictures?
I may have.
photos.
There's
Just
a couple
photos.
of
I may
set
have some
photos. There's some
pictures.
set
Got it.
photos.
Did you see Sasquatch? Literally looks like Sasquatch.
There were. I know what you mean. You mean the Wookiee?
The Wookiee on set that's
He had a
got
nice.
like a Wookiee.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Oh,
Maybe I haven't seen him.
I mean, it doesn't give a ton away.
It just
kinda
showed
shows
some
you-
of the actors that we
There's
already
no
Thought you meant-
information other than
I thought you meant this.
that's
Yeah, that's
Is that
that's
it?
that's
that's
basically
essentially
it.
it.
Okay.
Imagine that, but a Sasquatch in like Jedi robes, and that's
Whenever
what it
I
is.
see
That's
that, I
great.
just think of Will Ferrell and Elf when he does that. He walks through.
I know.
He's
That's so
walking
good.
through the woods.
But no,
It's
the
the
leaked
freeze frame.
pictures it showed,
So
and it
funny.
there was no
So good.
information. It was just a couple pictures of people on set.
Right.
But one of them was a Wookiee with
Wookiee
like
with the.
its hair like in a bun on
Oh
top.
man, a
And-
Wookiee bun.
But
Wookiee
but
with
because it was a picture from set, it looked like the Wookiee's like caught off guard, looking over, and I was like, "This is Sasquatch."
That's great.
Finally, unequivocal proof.
Yeah.
All right, so
So-
we've got
Who knew Sasquatch was a Jedi?
Who knew?
Skeleton Crew
Secrets
on
only
the table.
Sith knew.
Skeleton Crew on the table
All right.
versus the Acolyte. Thumbs up means Skeleton Crew's going through. Thumbs down means Acolyte.
Acolyte's going
I
through.
got a feeling about this. I got a feeling. All right,
Do-do-do,
my voice is coming back.
do-do-do.
Sorry.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I
all
felt that.
Acolyte. Yeah.
I'm
I
very
felt that
high
It's
too.
a
on
good
Acolyte.
downvote. Me too.
I'm very excited.
Acolyte.
Because
Chat-
Skeleton Crew, we
chat,
just don't
what are
know
you guys
anything about.
excited for
We
most?
love the evil.
Acolyte
Yeah.
or Skeleton Crew? Yeah, Acolyte. It's just we also now I will say we have gotten more information now
It's
about
well, it's
Acolyte, so
yeah.
Yeah.
that helps because
Acolyte's currently filming.
right. But I mean, part of the reason why is because I know more about the show.
Yeah.
So
True,
that-
it was
that is
announced-
part of the reason
It
why.
helps.
Acolyte
Why
has
I'm
been
more excited
announced
for it.
for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
Going back to that 2020.
and we knew from the beginning it
investors
was
meeting.
going to have a little darker, Sith, powers and Sith,
cool.
Yeah.
Force abilities. That type of theme, I guess, to
Right.
it. We don't know what all the story will entail, but those things are interesting because we haven't
Love it.
seen a ton of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we get some of it in Clone Wars with the Night Sisters and
Right.
stuff, but we really don't see a lot of that
No,
so
we need
far.
more.
So it's interesting and exciting to learn about.
I can't think of a song.
You don't want to learn
but
too
that's
much,
okay.
They might be in both. Night
though. They
Sisters
might be in both.
might be in both.
Acolyte. I don't have anything
Night
good.
Sisters are pretty dark.
he goes acolyte. Acolyte.
Acolyte, acolyte,
What are we
Hear this
doing?
collective sound of
What
clicking
are we
away.
doing?
I'm not sick, and
Across the
that's how I
galaxy.
sound.
Yeah.
I don't have an excuse.
So acolyte. Moving on. What's left? Mando season 3 and
Ahsoka's.
Ahsoka.
So we've got Ahsoka versus Acolyte.
Ahsoka
Oh,
versus
gosh.
acolyte.
This is Rocky 4 at the end when he comes up in the belt. There's no
No,
Drago has no shot.
there's not.
We know he has no chance.
There's no chance. The Russian embassy is turned on him.
Exactly.
There.
The crowd. Rocky,
Rocky, Rocky.
Drago is
Freedom, USA, US. The Russians are chanting
the prime
for USA.
minister. You know what would have happened in that movie today? They would have shot him from the balcony. He would have been shot right there.
I
They
don't
would
remember
have
who.
cheered for Drago. and
I
carried
don't
his
remember who it
lifeless
was.
corpse out
Some
the wall.
comedian in a while, and again, everyone has talked about this movie, but some comedian. It may have been
Just
even like
highlighting
Bill
how
Burr was
Rocky-
talking about it's like when Rocky, solved the Cold War. It's just a boxing match,
just
and all of a
fixed
sudden
it.
he changes everyone's hearts. Like all of a sudden, all of the diplomacy, none of that matters at all.
Exactly.
It's
No.
not an arms race. It's literally, oh, this guy's got heart.
He doesn't-
USA.
he doesn't quit.
Just completely.
Right.
Rocky. That's
awesome.
So great.
That's the
What better
great.
stuff?
That's it.
So good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Ahsoka
Wanna-
versus.
What's on the table?
Gosh, Ahsoka versus Acolytes.
Acolyte.
So Acolytes on the table.
This is okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I it's so skewed because I am really looking forward to Acolyte.
Skewed? What are the results?
Rocky, Rocky, Rocky.
That's thumbs down,
Rocky.
by the way. Cans
yeah,
down.
Ahsoka.
Acolyte's gonna be great, but
Ahsoka's blowing
I
it
mean,
out of the water. But I
Ahsoka.
am
This
really
is- and
excited for
because
Acolyte. But
I
it's
am too.
Ahsoka. It's Hayden
Well,
Christensen. It's all of it.
That's
it's
what I
all
was
of
gonna
it.
say.
It's
There's a-
Thrawn.
man,
It's Ezra. It's Thrawn. It's
Rebels. No, it really is Rebels.
it's
Season
May
5.
Yeah.
it's May Lurans. It's everything.
Lou runs.
May Lurans.
It's
everything.
Whoa,
I love it.
What do we
I
have
love
here?
it, I love it.
Lou runs.
Well, May Lurans and a nice puffer pig.
well. Puffer
Puffer
pig.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, Ahsoka just hands down.
Thumbs
Not even
Ahsoka.
close. Thumbs down.
That's a tough one, Rocky.
Hands down, thumbs down. Or Rocky.
Yeah. What are we?
We have Ahsoka versus Mando.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, we already talked about what Ahsoka's like.
Well, we'll get to some of our theories and predictions for each of these. But
Yeah, we can.
Right now, we're kind of just rattling off.
What's
our
hard
ranking
for us too is
comparison.
Ahsoka. It's one thing if it was just like we're gonna get a show with more, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, who's
Right.
been great so far in her appearances in Book of Boba Fett and Mando. But for us who are also diehard fans of Rebels,
Get all
it's
the
like
other-
wait, we're seeing all of the other characters in live action.
Come to life.
We're also getting the answers, the continuation of what happened to Ezra, what happened to
Yep.
Thrawn, we're probably gonna get some resolution to some of these characters.
Yeah.
Give me a live action
Man.
Zeb.
a live action. That's the
Oh my
original
right?
Wookiee.
Goodness. Yeah.
The original Wookiee is Zeb.
I didn't even
Imagine getting
think
a
of-
li-
I didn't
well,
even-
well,
I didn't
think
even
about
think about that.
well, we do get
they
now. It's
announced
not live
it?
action. It's not live action, but in Fallen Order,
Yeah. We do.
we get a realistic looking,
We do.
not just an animated style. It's obviously it's a video game,
Yep.
but it's supposed to. The graphics are supposed to look real,
Right.
and we get a realistic style of
Mhm.
what's the species again? Zebs.
Zebra.
He's training.
the
Uh,
Zebs. The Zebs.
yeah, he's training Cal in all those flashbacks.
Yeah, it's, just,
Yeah,
it's, his,
yeah.
it's his master.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
And in fact, when that game, I remember when Fallen Order, Fallen Order first came out. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, it's
Mhm.
Zeb.
I
Not
know.
actually Zeb, but
Right. It's awesome.
I was like, oh, that's so cool that they touched that in and put that in here.
Cool.
So yeah, they could easily they could do that.
There's no clues about casting for the parts. I guess they just know the characters, so we won't
Yeah.
know. How could he not be though? I mean, it seems like
It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Wait, how
There's-
could who not be?
Zeb seems like
Zeb?
seems
The
like
only thing I can think of is where it's left off is that he kind of went home,
yeah.
and I guess they could write in the story that
Chewie
he's-
goes
he's
home for
there.
Life
Go.
Day though, and that doesn't stop
That's
him
true.
from
That's
joining
true.
the crew.
But if he stays with Callus,
coming up, by the way.
Callus
That's true.
Yeah.
went back to see his people.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So if Zeb actually
Callus,
stayed,
give me
I know.
some
Give me
Callus.
some live action. Who would
Live
play
action
live
Callus.
action Callus?
Live action Callus.
Chris Evans? No, I'm just
Chris
kidding.
Evans. I was gonna say it's gotta be someone who's got the hair and the
I was
beard.
thinking
Yeah.
Chris
Because
he grew out
Evans
that
walking
beard.
out of the shadows with the beard.
He
and,
got that. He's got that. thick-
Infinity War. or
When
whatever.
Callus grows the beard, you know he's a good guy now. All of a sudden, he's got the
That's
nice
true.
beard. You never see the Imperials with a nice beard. Some mustache,
No,
sure.
clean shaven.
Not a big beard though.
No,
Mm-mm.
that's a rebel.
That's a rebel.
That's a
A
rebel.
rebel
I'd
against
say.
shaving.
Yeah, Callus and Zeb. So if he's still there, then I guess he wouldn't make an appearance in Ahsoka. But they're a crew, so he's got more. He's
Might
got
need
more
him.
left to give, I'd say.
Wait a second. Are we gonna get? Because who else was in Rebels? But Lando Calrissian. No,
Well,
I'm just
well,
kidding.
well.
Lando's not gonna be in Ahsoka. But what if instead of Lando getting his own show, they get him to come back and do one episode? They'd never do it. That'd be the most expensive episode ever. let's get him to come in and do.
I don't know. They got Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill lives for this stuff.
That's true.
Lando, they're like, hey, you can have a series. He's like, I'll get to it. He's like,
I'll get to it.
eventually, I'll get to it. I'm busy.
Right.
Yeah.
But now
Dude.
in Mando 3 though. Mando season 3 is March 1st.
Mando season
The official
3.
date,
one?
March 1.
Mhm.
When are we gonna get the Ahsoka footage that they showed at Star Wars Celebration?
I think
'Cause
they're not
I
going
am-
to.
listen,
they're trying
listen.
to not
I've been
cross
holding out.
promote. They're trying to not cross step on their own
I've been
promotion.
holding out. I refuse to
So it's
watch
gonna come
the
soon
leaked
now. It's
garbage quality
Yeah.
videos of
I
people
know, I
that
won't.
shared it from Star Wars Celebration. I refuse to watch that. As soon as I see those, I just scroll
Yeah,
past
I
them.
try not to watch.
I
Yeah.
want to see the good quality
Yeah.
trailer when it comes out.
Mhm.
Same.
And I want it now,
yeah.
Kathleen.
And there's been
Yeah.
casting that's happened since then. So there's also
Yeah.
they didn't even have the full cast. Like they had just started. Remember that when they posted that trailer
Teaser thing. Yeah.
teaser, Rosario Dawson came on stage and said they've been filming for like 2 weeks. And they literally put together this teaser trailer just for Star Wars Celebration. So
Yeah.
they literally
None
filmed
of
for
it's
like
even
2
footage.
weeks.
Wow.
They end up
Quickly
scrapping
got
all
it.
of that.
They like quickly
Yeah.
put this together just to get a teaser
Wow.
together,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't like far
Yeah.
into production.
Last one, Ahsoka versus Mando season 3.
Man, so one
The
thing real quick.
finalists. The finalists.
I am gonna be I decided I'm gonna go rewatch all of these live action shows today.
You're gonna rewatch them all
Today?
Today.
That
He
is awesome.
decided.
That is
I
awesome.
watched
You rewatch all of them.
I'm
today.
almost through. I'm almost on episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett.
Oh,
Because I have not gone back and watched Book of Boba Fett
Listen,
at
can I
all.
say something
Yep.
real quick? I don't like this. I don't like this one bit that he's
Which
doing
part?
this without even
yeah. We
informing
didn't even
us.
say anything.
He's not
Yeah.
even telling us. He's
Well,
just
the
doing this
best
on
part
his own.
about this
You
is
got
I
loose
was
cannon over here.
well, no. This is absolutely canon, and this is not canon adjacent. This is not Legends. This
It's
is
not
canon.
loose.
It's not loose. This is strict canon. This is
It ain't loose.
no, it's not loose. This is strict canon. The reason I was doing it was
Not Nick
when we
Cannon.
were thinking we just finished Andor,
Strict cannon.
and
Strict canon.
I was trying to think in our I think on the last podcast, I know Uncle you weren't here, but we had Joe here, and I think we briefly just touched on like some of our thoughts of got his thoughts from Andor, and then just excited for some stuff coming up, and then just talking about
Yeah.
different shows. And I think I said at the time, and I think I probably still stand by this, but I said I don't really know where to rank
I think
Andor.
I've changed my mind in the
I
last
think
6
I
days.
The last
might-
6 days,
but-
I might not be a man
I
of
may
my
have
word.
done a
I think I
complete
stand by
180.
this.
but I said something. I think we were talking a little bit about how it's hard this close after finishing Andor to really have perspective or think how does it compare, or like in my personal favorites.
Yeah, we were kind of
rankings.
talking about how you don't
If
have
I
to
was to
bash
rank things.
Mando to enjoy Andor.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Because I think I said something like I absolutely love Andor. I don't think there was even a weak
Yeah.
episode in it, and I can say all of that and say that I can't definitively say, and maybe it will eventually be there. I can't say right now that it's clearly my favorite of the live action Star Wars
Yeah.
shows, even though I said it might be. It also might be the best as far as consistent storytelling, writing, the acting.
Yeah.
From almost every measurable
Oh my gosh!
thing.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's
might-
not, we
it
see
might
that it got
be-
nominated, but for some
mean,
of the
it's
act-
not
you
a-
know,
it's
Diego
not a
Luna got
fluke.
nominated.
Yeah,
Really?
it's not a fluke that it has maybe I think the highest like Rotten Tomatoes score, all of those things. It's a very good show, and I loved it.
It does
It-
have bricks though. That's a knockdown.
But it does. Having said all that, there are certain things about each of the shows that maybe make me like one show more than, or have one as my favorite versus best versus. And so the reason I'm rambling here is I finished by saying I think the only thing I can say probably definitively is of the 4 live action shows that came out, I probably would rank, even though I really loved a lot of it, I probably would rank Book of Boba Fett as 4th out of the 4,
Mhm.
out of Book of Boba Fett, Andor, Obi-Wan, and Mando.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. But I then was like, I haven't gone back and rewatched Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
though.
Right.
And I'm glad that these shows are kind of short because I can just, in a couple of days,
Yeah.
go and just run through the whole series. Like I literally watched one episode yesterday and this morning while I was, Abigail was substitute teaching and I was with Isaiah, and when he was napping, I watched like 3 episodes like that because they're
Yeah.
like 30 minutes long.
Right.
And the stuff that I really love is still really there, and then also the stuff that I'm like, oh, I do
Yep,
kind of
I
remember
remember
why this does look a little, this chase scene's a little slow, or
Right.
a little apologies. Apologies.
Apologies. Yeah, Jack in the chat saying Book of
Understandable.
Boba Fett had the best
There's a little
live action episode in all of
That's
Star
right.
Wars. Period.
But all
It
that to
did have
say,
some good
stuff-
some great
this stuff-
episodes.
I just love the abundance of stuff that we have.
Yep.
That was what I was getting at when then leading into. It's gonna be. I haven't rewatched Mando in a long time.
I need to rewatch.
Like I need to
Mando.
rewatch. I can't believe I haven't rewatched Mando in so long, but I
Yeah.
also feel like we haven't had a lot of time.
No, you got
I
new
think I've
stuff.
great
rewatched
is we're
episodes of
spoiled with so
Kenobi
many
more than
Star Wars.
anything.
Right.
Yeah,
I think I've rewatched certain moments and episodes of Kenobi probably more than I have anything else.
Mm.
Not that I didn't love everything else, I do, but
Yeah.
there were some moments in Kenobi. As soon as it came out that day, I was like, okay, I'm watching this like 8 times.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there's certain like you're saying, there's certain moments in like if you just picked out moments, maybe we should do this for an episode one time instead of going each an individual show, picking out best moments.
Ooh.
I think we should. Like,
we could do like a
your favorite moments?
2022, Star Wars favorite moments.
favorite moments.
So not favorite episodes. We're not saying one show's better than the other. What but just picking
got
out
an idea.
favorite moments and why they were so good. Breaking them down.
idea. A wonderful, awful idea.
I think for our podcast, we should,
idea.
depending on how we can time this with people going out of town and whatnot, we should have we should
people
have
going
a
out of town and
Christmas
whatnot.
list and we should have a New Year's remembering list.
I like it.
Our favorite moments
Yeah.
of 2022 in remembrance,
it.
not the dead.
Not in
Just-
memoriam. Yeah.
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 And then yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I love it.
that's a
No,
good idea though to count down our moments. I love
Yeah.
that.
I definitely can tell you one of the things that would be on my list.
Dooku, come here, Dooku. It is okay. This is my Yaddle impression, by the way. It's not too late, Dooku. I am Bryce Dallas Howard. Come to me, Dooku.
Well, you're Bryce Dallas Howard, and now I'm Christopher Lee. I don't
You
know.
sound like Adam Sandler.
That's what we do.
Yeah, well, this guy obviously he went to the dark side.
Jack says, thoughts on Sean Levy confirming his Star Wars movie is happening.
I talked to you about this, I believe. Did he confirm it within the last day or so?
I don't know.
I think
didn't-
maybe
if
he
it-
talked
if
about.
if that happened to if there was actual confirmation.
There was
that
something. I
happened,
think he
didn't see the
said
official confirmation.
He
but-
did say something in an interview. Remember about why do you think I had the is it in Free Guy or Adam Project where he's got something that looks like a lightsaber that he's like I put in there I couldn't call it a
'cause it was-
lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that was in.
He's
that
like,
was
I've
in
been a-
Adam Project.
Yeah, he was like I've loved Star Wars
Yeah.
and have been trying to.
get involved.
Get
He's
involved
gonna
in
put
any way.
Ryan Reynolds in Star Wars
Hi there, I'm a
movie.
Jedi. I know. It's wild.
Whoa!
It's wild.
Hi.
Hi.
Pump the Sith Lord breaks there.
Wow, you either Hugh Jackman or should I say Palpatine? Or should I say Palpatine?
Are we finally gonna vote on this?
Mando. This is the finale of our ranking. We got Mando season 3 going up against Ahsoka. Which one we are most excited for, most looking forward to seeing in 2023? Mando season 3 versus Ahsoka.
Ahsoka's on the table.
Ahsoka's on the table.
Thumbs up vote
so
means
thumbs up means
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Thumbs down means you're looking forward to Mando season 3.
Am I more excited for Mando mornings or Ahsoka afternoons?
Ooh, Ahsoka
Ooh.
assumptions or Mando
Ahsoka
maybes?
assumptions, some Ahsoka answers possibly.
Ooh.
Ahsoka answers and Mando
Some
maybes.
Mando maybes. Some,
Mando
It's always
maybe.
open ended. It's
Mando
never
maybe.
a definite answer. It's just maybe.
Mando must happens. Ahsoka absolutes.
Oh,
Ahsoka
only a Sith
absolutes.
deals in absolutes,
That's
and
right.
also
I
this
like it.
podcast. I'll
Also
do it on us.
podcasts.
All right, we got it.
Wait, which one's on the table? Ahsoka's on the table.
Ahsoka, Mando season 3. Chat, give us your votes. Cast them right now.
Ahsoka,
Thumbs
Mando
up
3
for
is just where
Ahsoka.
am I
Thumbs down.
most,
You're most excited for Mando season 3.
I gotta close my eyes for this one.
You're counting down. Give it to us.
29, 28. No, okay. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
I went Mando.
he
Saw
shocked
that.
himself.
Commando. He's all by himself over there.
He did.
All right.
I I think that it's.
I like how we just look at him like
Yeah,
you
like,
have to explain yourself.
Oh, I'll gladly explain myself. I'll stand by this. There is just Mando started it. Mando started the live action Star Wars television.
Yep.
It but also I was rewatching just like a clip from Mandalorian the other day on YouTube, and I was like, man, I forgot how good that looks. I do think that the visuals, and this is something as much as I love, and it might even be my favorite series, or at least at the time, it probably would be my favorite series in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Obi-Wan has some of the weaker visuals and some of the strongest emotional, like, I
Yeah.
feel the strongest emotions. I feel stronger emotions, I think, when I'm watching some scenes in Obi-Wan than I do in Book of Boba Fett or in Andor or maybe even in Mando. Although there's some in Mando when I saw Luke Skywalker return that's like, it's
Right.
hard to but I think most people would agree that there are some shots in Obi-Wan that maybe the volume is a little bit more noticeable, or the staging,
I
the
agree.
framing is a little
Yeah.
more noticeable. Of like, oh, I'm. There's some that like you can't. I mean, the final battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin, the final one.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about it at all. I'm like, they're on this planet. I'm
Mhm.
totally bought in. The first one, as much as I think it's a great heavy moment, I'm invested. You can tell kind of they're on a stage where he's kind of running out from behind the dunes,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he runs back, and then it kind of cuts, and then he's back on the other side of the dune, and he's just like, where is he? And he comes up behind
Yeah.
him. It just
Mhm.
feels a little bit like they're on a smaller. They're working on
Mhm.
a smaller. They've got a little smaller space to work with, or the scenes. I always go back to the scene of when the stormtroopers come in with what's her name, Reva, and Reva has her whispering scene to Obi-Wan, and
Mhm.
but there's only like 10 stormtroopers, and you're like, if this is Obi-Wan, and if this was
Yeah,
a
why-
movie version of the same scene,
Why
Right.
they're
they
What it
not-
might
look
have
like-
starships up in the I mean, it might be
Yeah.
the same. It might be a. I want every gun to fire on that man.
That
It's the
man.
Adam Driver, like
Yeah.
literally.
Everybody's
Do you
going
think you
after
got him? Like that whole
Yeah.
thing of
Yes.
we would send everyone after Luke.
Enough.
We would send everyone after Obi-Wan.
More.
Which, so I think it's a little more noticeable, and what I'm getting at is a little more
Yeah.
noticeable in Obi-Wan, and I think it is a lesser budget. I think
Yeah.
we've seen that Mando has a higher budget than Obi-Wan. And I think that was more, it was obvious, and Andor had a higher budget as well. So all I was gonna say is there is something about Mando that, because it is so, there's just this. It is the classic serial adventure of. It's the Saturday. It is the Flash Gordon. That is what George, when he talked about why he wanted to make Star Wars. I do
Mhm.
think Mando is very.
Episodic.
It's very
It's
episodic, but
very,
it's
like,
also it's
This
the.
point. Okay, this point.
It is. There's this mystical. I think that
Chapter,
Mando
chapter.
might have the best combination so far, or it feels like you feel the most of different tones throughout one show, like in a good way. Not like, oh, this is weird to have this comedic thing. Like the comedy's not too
Yeah.
heavy-handed. I think in Book
Yeah.
of Boba Fett's a little heavy-handed. Like it's a little. There's almost a little more like the Robert
Yeah.
Rodriguez is almost a little more Taika. Of like,
Yep.
oh, this feels like it almost takes me out of Star Wars a little bit when the
Yeah.
guy's like, he's got his mustache and his in the flat billed hat dude who's just like, you're not on the list. And now it feels like I'm watching like a Parks and Rec episode or
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
Mando feels like it's its own, like it really stayed in its kind of lane while also venturing off into like
Yeah.
this wild, it can do anything kind of canon wise, because it's like, oh, of course we can have this tie in and this. But it's just like this wonder.
Mhm.
Every episode of Mando, I just remember thinking like, what in the world are they going to do?
Where's it
Each
going?
time I think I know what they're going to do with the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John
I mean,
goes, well, just wait. And I mentioned last thing. I know I'm rambling. Last episode we talked about. I saw a tweet of someone quoting Oscar Isaac, of someone quoting Pedro Pascal talking about Mando season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I told you this in the last podcast
Mhm.
that he said, "Yeah, we're very excited for people to see season 3. Season 1 we kept under wraps the big secret of Grogu.
Grogu.
Nobody could know about that. Season 2 we kept under wraps Luke Skywalker. We've kept under wraps some things for season 3.
Wow.
Can't wait to see you guys, for you guys to see it. So it makes it just even it's just
Mace.
this. I'm wondering.
Mace.
I'm wondering.
Mace.
Mace takes over Mandalore. Mace takes over Mandalore for no reason.
He
No
shows up.
ties.
He shows up and Mace is just on the throne. I don't know.
So
They're gonna
that's
explain the backstory of how Bo-Katan lost the Darksaber
Two.
because we haven't
Yeah,
found
right,
it out.
right. Mhm.
now
It was
you
Mace.
It
two
was Mace. That's where he ended up.
explain yourselves
You
after
just
hearing what
lost
I had to
it.
say. After I spent 20 minutes there,
I
I'm so excited for Ahsoka. By the way, it's a flip of
I
the
am
coin.
extremely excited for Mando, and I think part of what made me super excited about the idea of the show in the first place, of diving into the idea of the Mandalorians, I think is really gonna play out in this season
Mhm.
because they've been setting up Mandalore, the rightful ruler of Mandalore, the Darksaber, and it seems like everything's that they've got the cult, his cult group versus what's true, what's not. It feels like my idea of what I had in mind for the Mandalorian when it was first announced of following Mandalore is kind of what is now starting to come to fruition in this season. Not that that's a knock on the other stuff, because obviously it's better than I could have ever expected it to be. I love Mando, and I love the route that they're going, but it does feel like now they are narrowing in on the Mandalorian. Like, what is the title of this show? It's all about the Mandalorian, and just the actual group of Mandalorians. What does that all mean? It seems like
Mhm.
they're kind of diving into that history, and I'm interested to see that play out. That said, when it comes to Ahsoka, obviously you guys know she's arguably one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Getting her live action and knowing that Hayden Christensen's confirmed to be in it,
Yep.
That is
I'm so excited to see that play out live action, but also just the conversation.
that scene
The
too. whenever
I'm
he's-
waiting for that scene.
Yep.
And I want to see them talking to each other, and I want to see the moment where Ahsoka finds out that her master, having turned into Darth Vader, was saved in the end, and that being played out on screen. I think doing it in an animated way could be great, but I don't think it would do it as well of justice as having the actors perform that with the facial emotions that you can portray
Yeah.
with live action and having actual actors do that.
Yep.
So that would be a benefit, I think, of having this be a live action series for that moment and saving that moment for a live action series rather than having that have played out in an animated show.
Yep.
That you can utilize the actors and their performances to actually connect with that moment more
Mhm.
visually, seeing them react and kind of connect with that emotion. So that moment alone is a big reason why I'm most excited for it.
What if, in Book of Boba Fett fashion, though, that moment actually happens in The Mandalorian? They like to have.
Ooh, yeah.
She's
Yeah.
she's been in Mando.
I wouldn't
She's
put
back.
it past them.
It's in the same time period
It could.
as far as
It could, but
No,
plus,
I'm
plus,
not
I mean,
actually
not to
expecting
mention,
that they would do
not
that
to mention
anymore.
the whole idea of Thrawn and the potential of Ezra and these other characters being in it,
Right.
and Sabine,
Yeah.
like the whole crew getting them
Oh,
live
man.
action.
Do we kind of
wait.
forget or
I can't wait
overlook
for
Can't wait for that.
the whole? Almost unplugging the mic.
Oh,
Do
no.
we kind of forget or almost overlook the mysteries around? I know we're so focused on
I want
Mandalore.
live action space whales.
We're so focused on
Mystery
Mandalore.
of
The mystery of the cloning.
Grogu and the cloning too. Yeah.
The Grogu
Yeah.
and the cloning. They've shown in the trailer. They showed the clone. They showed the Doctor again.
I know.
They showed.
There's a mystery there that's
I
gonna.
know.
They
unfold.
showed the clone Doctor from
I've been
season
saying it
one,
the whole time.
who had the he
I've
had
been
the
saying
thing
it the
on
whole
there.
time. The secrets.
But
are
I'm
all,
saying
it always
this-
ties to cloning.
They have talked about
Always in the shadows.
this all leading to this big climactic crossover event with because it was initially going to be Ahsoka. They hadn't announced Book of Boba Fett on that day, but they announced later. But Book of Rangers of the New
yeah.
Republic and Mando all having these timelines that then connect into this big what they called it was this big climactic event, this big
Yeah.
cinematic event or the big event. So I am wondering where does Mando and Ahsoka, where does it end? As far as Mando's not going to go on for 10 seasons.
It all revolves around Grogu. It has to. Ahsoka has to have.
Does it
some
revolve around
connection or-
Grogu? I saw
coming
someone
back
say
to
this
Grogu.
recently. Does this revolve around? Is there going to be? Is one of the movies that they're working on? What is
I
their
was
money?
thinking
What
about
is their
this.
money maker right now as far as merchandise?
Grogu.
The Grogu, and Mando. Really, the
What
duo.
if they announce a movie tomorrow and it's just called
But-
Grogu?
But someone was.
Grogu.
I heard someone, and again, I'm not saying this necessarily happens, but I saw maybe it was Pete. I think Pete maybe said this on his Twitter account or something. Around the Galaxy was saying
Yeah.
that he predicted that one of the movies, and again, we'll see if it ends up happening, but that Mando concludes its show. It does 4 seasons or whatever it's going to do. And it has these tie-ins. Ahsoka ties in. All these things tie in. And it ends, though, with it connecting, or with event like it has its thing, and then Grogu goes off to do something. And that it then tees up Grogu in some future timeline that it's Grogu meeting up with Rey post.
Yeah, I've
and
been
that they were
say-
saying
yeah, I've
what
said
would
that too.
and they were saying I don't know
Wow.
how someone suggested like I don't know how it would work story wise of what they would do, but we don't know.
They're excited about
That
the
makes
new
the
movie.
most
that
He
says-
would be as far as how long he lives
because he lives forever.
Yoda's
I mean, he's-
species. He lives. I mean, Yoda died at
him
900
being
years
involved
old,
with Rey and Finn
Right.
and
that
Yeah.
unless he has a tragic death before then, it would make sense that Grogu's actually alive during
Yeah.
the events.
I really do think that's the direction. They're
and
gonna
that
go.
if they're
I
looking
think
at
he'll
from
be
a
around.
financial
Yeah.
standpoint, if you say there's a movie all of a sudden that's starring Grogu, you almost immediately have at least a baseline of you making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Just again, whether
Oh,
the
yeah.
movie's good or not, that's
Yeah.
a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
It has to have a good
But
script after
Grogu
that.
being in it.
But there are a lot of Star
Help
Wars
start
fans
with
who
that.
now watch Mandalorian or buy merchandise because like Baby Yoda, he's cute. Like I know a ton of people.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, I got into it because Baby Yoda
Yeah.
got me into it,
Yeah.
or Mandalorian and Baby Yoda got me into it. And then
No,
again,
and
I'm not. This is spinning off into a different
story,
discussion, but
storyline that makes sense. He's young. They could obviously money wise, financially, it's a thing that they could use forever. Plus, with the rumors of them going back to a time period in the post episode 9,
Mhm.
I think it all makes sense. And I've saw people even kicking this around before episode 9 even came out that like what if the story continued after this with New Academy where Grogu is tied into it.
Mhm.
So, and especially with the teaser that Finn is gonna
Yeah,
have Force
Grogu,
abilities. So Rey, Finn, Grogu, and then
maybe
now-
Ezra's alive now too.
I was gonna say now with all these
During
other
that time period?
mediums,
Maybe.
there's a lot more Jedi we're finding out that are still alive that are out there.
Ahsoka will never die until
Yeah.
Filoni dies.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not calling for
I
death.
I could
I'm
see
just saying
Grogu.
Filoni would never.
I could see
No.
Grogu moving forward, getting the Ahsoka treatment, the Filoni treatment too. Of like, one, they anything he's in, they're gonna make a lot of money off of. So financially, it makes sense. But also, just the character itself would be a hard one to kill off, and I don't think that's gonna happen to Ahsoka ever. I don't think Ahsoka will literally become the essence of the Force before she ever dies.
And from a storytelling standpoint, part of the gold of having Grogu be such a hit is that he's 50 and he lives to be 900. So
Mhm.
like literally unlimited
Yeah,
Star Wars
yeah,
stories moving
exactly.
forward. That
Mhm.
until
exactly.
something happens in story that would take him away or take him out
Yeah.
or
Yep, he's still
things
there.
that he could literally be there.
Yep.
Uncle, I know we've been talking a long
Yeah.
time. Your thoughts on
The live action. So been this movement in live action to go away from the Jedi. They've kind of gone away from them.
Andor?
Andor,
Yep.
Yeah,
Mando,
yeah, for sure.
Bad Batch. They're all going away from the Force
Yeah.
user being the center of the story, right?
Yeah.
Rogue One, Solo.
All of them.
They wanted to incorporate all these other movies.
Yeah. So when I think about now we've got Obi-Wan, but that's not
That's a filling in the
That's
gap.
yeah.
exactly.
And that's characters we
answering
already
questions
know.
that we know in a timeline that we
Yeah.
that was already there.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see, and also neither of them in their prime, like neither of them firing at the peak of their ability,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get Ahsoka in like prime, full on
That's a good point.
Jedi Master,
That's true.
double saber, separate saber form. taking on like
Yeah.
my favorite part of the Star Wars universe.
It's such a
Yeah.
good
With
point.
all of our-
timeline wise, you mean?
With
That's
all
such a
of
good
our
point.
characters that we know from Rebels and the unanswered questions and
But still mixed in with a Thrawn, which touches on the other side, not the Force, but the strategy, the
absolutely
military.
we get that too. So we're gonna go back to a Jedi-driven character arc, which other than Obi-Wan kind of was, but kind of wasn't. He was
'Cause the
discovering
majority of-
himself,
The
was,
majority of
but-
it is about how he refuses.
trying not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
At
So,
the very end, yeah, you're right.
but we're full on with the Jedi leading
Yeah.
the mission here, and I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
One
Get
so
the
one
crew back together
Yep.
and
Yeah.
one thing on that too.
I can't
Go
wait.
kill
I'm
the
When
bad
you
guys.
just said
excited for
it right
Ahsoka.
there, it also reminds me.
He's changing his mind.
It reminds me that I'm wrong.
reminds me that we need to vote
It
again.
reminds me that I'm wrong.
What are we
Um,
talking about?
What are we talking
What are we doing?
Uh, This is a good point because when you think about the different shows that have come out, I think that, and again, we've discussed this before on the show. We're not big. The way that we like to analyze Star Wars, we're not trying to gloss over things. There are things in each of the shows, but especially some of the shows that you hear us bring up. Like the reason I brought up Book of Boba Fett and I was rewatching it, even in the first few episodes, there are things I'm like, this goes on a bit long. This scene, or
Yeah.
like
Yep.
kind of played a little goofy there. Probably not exactly how I would have hoped that would have
Yeah.
gone. But there's stuff that we love throughout all of them. People a lot of times like to pit. Are you an Andor person or are you a Obi-Wan
Yeah.
person? Are you an Andor or even recently you have people going like, do you like Andor or Mando? I'm like, wait, you're
We
now
have to-
coming after Mando?
we have to
I
pick.
know.
Mando was the gold standard. Like that was the. I thought we
That
all
was Star
rallied.
Wars.
Yeah, like whatever you thought about any of the
Yeah.
movies, we were big fans of the recent movies.
Yeah.
I also loved Mando so much, and we all rallied around Mando. This is great.
And
This is
Andor.
exciting, and Andor, and all these things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But when Uncle says getting back to also a Jedi, I think it's great that we deviated
We needed
to
to.
these different things.
we
Yeah.
needed to.
Yeah.
We need to. It can't
We need to
all be
step
as much
away
as
That's
I
from
love.
the
I love
Jedi.
Andor. It's fresh. It's
Yeah.
different. It shows the perspective of an average,
It,
it
it makes
the average
Force
person.
users
Yes,
more rare, which makes them more special.
you don't
They're
want
not
it to
around
be.
every corner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was one of the beauties of the original Star Wars movie. Was that
Right.
How unique they
you're
were.
a Jedi? What's that?
That's right.
Immediately, what's that? He's like, wait, those Jedi. I thought it was like, even in
Yeah.
Force Awakens, I thought that was a myth.
Yeah,
Like
I thought
there's,
he was a
it's
myth,
not
right.
this thing that everyone's
Yeah.
running around knowing what Jedi are and all
That's
of
right.
that. But when you bring up Ahsoka and being a Jedi-led, Force user-led show, it does make me excited and also glad that both that we had Andor,
Mhm.
and also that every show is not like Andor.
Right.
Both are
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I do gravitate. I love what they did with Andor. Also, while they're doing that, I'm like, this is great. It's awesome. I love it. It's also probably as great as it is. And the acting, I've rewatched multiple of the episodes when we were going through it. It's
Mhm.
also probably not the first one that I would go to that when I'm sitting down, I'm just like, I want a lighthearted adventure. I'm
Wanna
not going
feel
to
good,
necessarily put
right.
on
Yeah.
like I brought up before. I love the movie Dunkirk.
But
I don't. It's
Great movie.
It's one of Christopher Nolan's best movies.
Yeah.
I've seen Inception way more,
yeah.
and
Interstellar.
I've seen Interstellar way more.
Yeah,
I've
right,
seen
right.
Dark Knight way
It's-
more.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know some film critics. One of them is Tarantino said that he believes that Dunkirk's actually Nolan's best film,
Best
and he
film
goes
he
through
ever
this
made,
thing
yeah.
about how he did
He
it
did
and all this
say
stuff
that.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
That can all be true, and also it's not the one that I
You're
can
gonna
also
come
say
back
it's
to.
maybe the best, and also not the one that I'm in the mood
Right.
to always watch.
That's right.
And that-
It might win award, like a movie or a show might win a bunch of awards. That doesn't necessarily mean I want
Yeah.
to watch
Like
it.
Wizard of
all
Oz.
day.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great movie, but
Ring the bell. I
it's the
love it.
worst movie.
I love it. It's that we missed last week. Last week, this show missed the Wizard of Oz hate,
It did.
and
You didn't
because of
have
that,
It's
I
fresh.
think that people are like, do these guys not
Do they actually
care
like it?
about us anymore? Like,
You want another reason?
yes,
It
What's our
almost
reason
killed
we-
Buddy Epson, by the way. The gold dust they put on, or the silver dust
It
playing.
almost got him.
He almost died. We almost never had the Beverly Hillbillies because
because of the Wizard
Because
of Oz.
Tin Man
Victor
almost bit it.
Fleming almost killed Buddy Epson. And then you know what happened when he got better in the hospital?
What happened?
Recast his part, kicked him out. Not only is he almost killed by the movie, they don't even let him finish it.
It's so bad.
Awful.
That's so bad.
I love it.
I love all these facts he knows about it too. and
It's
how,
great.
how bad it is.
Because if you're gonna go out on a limb and
If you're gonna take a movie
if you're
down,
gonna take it down, you better
mean,
know what you're talking about. You
yeah.
gotta know the
And-
facts.
and-
He's
yeah.
got the facts.
go to the number 3 movie. 3, by the way. You know,
Yeah.
Citizen Kane and Gone with the Wind's always ahead of it. It can't ever get over that. You know, you got 1946 and then a racist movie, and then Wizard of Oz is third after those two.
This movie. The Wizard of Oz is
Stiff
third.
competition.
Oh.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh,
This
man.
movie and then third. That's great. All I was saying there is, it makes me when we watched Andor and I loved it and it was awesome. It exceeded all my expectations. I am also ready for that is so good. I'm glad it didn't have lightsabers. I'm glad we didn't have a bunch of these cameos because it didn't need it.
Yeah.
But also now give me a lightsaber.
Now,
But also,
now I'm
I
ready.
need a
Now I'm
lightsaber.
ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a pendulum.
And when
You're back
season
and
2 of
forth.
Andor comes back,
It's so
I'm going to
good,
be
dude.
so ready for that again and
Yep.
so
Yeah.
excited for it. I can't wait for it. Also, I'm
sure.
so glad that it's not a gap of no Star Wars until that, though.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got the different things. So you need
Right.
a palate cleanser. You need a different
So-
taste.
Absolutely.
Wrapping up this part, because I do want to touch a couple things with.
Touch a
And-
couple
and-
things.
and
Touch whatever you want.
I
You
know,
got
I know we've been going for
Yeah.
about an hour, but some theories for each of these. We don't have to spend a ton of time, but just reviewing the ranking for those that are watching. Recap. We had starting at the bottom. We had Young Jedi Adventures, strictly because we know
We don't
nothing-
know.
We don't know much about it.
It could be fantastic.
Could
Could
be
be.
amazing.
Could be.
Then after that we had was it Visions?
I believe after
Visions.
that we had Johnny Carson.
Visions.
Visions was next.
Visions,
Vision was
and I
next.
love Visions. I can't wait
Those are
for it.
wild, wacky stuff. I
Uh,
believe it's non-canon.
Bad
Batch.
Batch is strikingly low in our list,
It
by the
is.
way.
It is.
And
Just because of the way it worked out.
Yeah.
and honestly, I'd be happy if it was like 3 spots higher because
Oh,
I
yeah.
love
Right.
Bad Batch.
All
me
of
too.
these, honestly, all of
Me
them.
too.
Bad Batch, then Skeleton Crew,
Mm-hmm.
then
I might
Acolyte.
Which I voted
might
against
flip.
that.
I might
I
flip
voted.
those
I
two.
voted for Bad Batch.
I might flip those two just because the unknown of Skeleton. Although I'm very excited for Skeleton Crew, I just
Yeah.
don't know hardly anything about it.
It's fine.
But it could be
Oh, sure.
fantastic.
And then
Okay, so those are interchangeable.
and then
Skeleton Crew and Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Then Acolyte
Acolyte. I'm comfortable.
at 3. Coming in at 3, we got
It
Acolyte.
feels right. It feels right.
Third most anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 overall most anticipated project, Mando season 3.
On a split decision.
How's that
On a
voted?
split decision.
Yeah.
Decision. Mando season 3.
Yep.
And coming in number 1 most anticipated is Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
And live
Split-
action
split,
Thrawn
Split Ahsoka.
is
Man.
just about enough to get me over the
Holy
edge.
cow.
And
It's
another project.
Holy
now
cow.
this isn't this isn't added to the ranking, but another project coming in 2023 that I think especially you might be excited about.
Is this us
Oh.
announcing
Or is this our thing?
We're
Our
in a
Unkar-
movie. No.
Our Unkal plot fan film?
Fan
No,
film?
no. Jedi
1/4 portion.
Survivor
Yeah.
video game,
Ga-
the
it
sequel
looks
to
great.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Mhm.
Jedi Survivor is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a canon story. We got Cal Kestis. So part of the reason why I love Fallen
He was in
Order
Bad
is
Batch.
because of the
Yes.
part of the
Or
reason
no.
why I love.
No,
Kanan
he was in
was- Kanan-
yeah,
Kanan was in
yeah.
Bad Batch.
Kanan.
Yeah.
Kanan
Little
was.
Caleb Doom.
Caleb.
Part of the reason why I love Fallen Order is because of the story. I mean,
Yeah,
the game
it's a great
itself is
story.
great and it's fun to play, but the reason why I beat the whole thing in one day is because is because
the best at
because I'm the greatest. No,
story.
was because
People
I,
said
could,
it was
I wanted
tough,
to know the
but it was
story.
easy.
Yeah.
I wanted to know the story and where it was going, so I
Yeah.
just had to keep going.
Yeah.
And Jedi Survivor is going to be no different.
Yeah. It looks great too.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait to get this story of Cal Kestis. And if you saw the latest trailer, I don't know if you saw the latest trailer or not. But
I did.
At the end, you see he gets he keeps building and adding onto his lightsaber. He's got a
Yep.
cross guard saber now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Come on,
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Survivor, Jeff Probst. Come on, come on,
But so getting into
Come on,
theories
man.
before,
come on,
before we
Jedi
wrap
board
up,
off the island. Come on.
before we wrap up, spending a handful of minutes here on some theories for all of these things, and one of them, the part of the reason I started mentioning Jedi Survivor,
Oh yes. Oh wow.
I predict in 2023 we will get an announcement on Cal Kestis being in a different medium, so not a game, like not another game coming.
A show.
But he will be in a show or a movie.
Live action.
He
Cal
benefits
Kestis
from the
will
fact
be-
that the actor who
He is
who
the
plays
actor.
him. He is the actor. So whenever
He
they
actually
cast
is
him,
the actor.
the actor is an actor who's a
And
the guy.
everybody's been asking him
He's great.
for, well, when are you gonna be in something? And he's being brought in to because of how successful the first one was. His lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge, it won like the vote to be added to this was a while ago now, but there's evidence of how big of the following is for this character.
Yeah.
So I'm predicting
I gotta say something,
there
too.
will be an announcement for him being in a show or movie.
That's
but
good.
Most likely a show.
Speaking of Galaxy's Edge, I was FaceTimed today
By Galaxy's Edge.
by someone at Galaxy's Edge.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll give you a hint. He spent a long, long Christmas at this house right here. And
He spent or spends?
no, he spent a
There's
long
no
Christmas.
shot.
Who am I
There's
talking
no
about?
shot.
Who am I talking about?
Is it Peter?
Peter. Peter Cunningham.
Really?
Oh, God.
Peter
So
FaceTimed me
this is a
today.
buddy of ours. He hasn't been on the podcast, but if he's ever in town,
ever in
we'll
town,
need to
he'll
get
be
him
on
on the show.
He FaceTimed me today. I'm like, oh, just random FaceTime from Peter. I went to answer it, and he's smiling at the screen, and I'm like, hey, Peter. And at first I thought maybe it's connection's bad or something. He can't hear me because he's just going. He's moving, and all of a sudden he goes, and it's just Smugglers Run behind him.
He's
Behind
about to
him.
hop on the Falcon.
And then he didn't say anything at
awesome.
first, and I was like, wait, what? He said, that's right. I've been smuggling. I've been smuggling.
Smuggling.
He said, I think he said, like, I've gone 4 times. I'm in line for a 5th.
That's
And then
so
as we're
good.
talking, he's literally moving up in line. And he goes, oh, I'm up next. Sorry, got to go. And he's just hopping on the ride again.
That's
so I didn't get any
awesome.
details of
Nothing.
Florida or
You just know he's there.
or
and he's-
California. He's there. He's been
Wow.
on. Oh, he did say he
That's
was the
awesome.
engineer a lot because I asked him,
Yeah.
and I briefly told him
I've never
about
done that.
about our
Right.
story of Punch
Engineer's
It.
my
Great.
engineer's
Punch it.
my Boba Fett of the Smuggler's Run. Engineer.
just
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
It's my
never got it.
least of the.
It's
Yeah.
your least, yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
Nate
We
and I were
only
always
flew.
we only
We only
we
flew.
only
I think
Wow.
I've only been a pilot.
but we were
Yeah.
we just switched one time. We were up and down.
We
on
got
the
to
side,
do
we were
both
side to
controls,
side.
but
yeah.
we only.
You know what's great about Smuggler's Run? I have a family of 6.
Oh, so you got the whole crew.
That's
in there.
great.
Perfect. It's us, man.
You know what else is
We
great
run
about
the
it?
We had a
whole show.
random family
What else
of
is
4.
great about it?
That's
You
what
got to go
us
with
is great.
random people.
Yeah, punch it. But we're going punch it. And they're going.
And they're cheering behind us.
It was hilarious.
But we got Jack in the chat said, "Will we get a movie announcement at Celebration in 2023?"
Ooh.
I think so.
2023.
2023
Will we
Celebration.
ever see that movie?
We will.
No.
Will the date be wrong?
Will they
Yes.
announce a movie that no one will ever see?
Yeah.
Even us, we should say, who are very positive on Star Wars. We even
Announce a
admit,
movie
like,
that
come
no
on,
one will see.
come on with the movie dates. Even
The
we've
dates.
gotten to the point where like,
The dates
I
are
believe it
fake.
when
You're
I'm
just
sitting-
throwing out numbers.
believe it when
Kathy. Kat, you better straighten this thing out because you can't.
I
keep
believe
pitching
it.
numbers.
I appreciate us taking our time.
September doesn't have a 31st day.
I appreciate us taking our time to get scripts right.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'll believe it when I see the trailer.
Yeah.
James
Even an
Cameron has
announcement.
claimed every even numbered year for the next 50. So
He has.
I
you're gonna have to
know.
land on an odd number year.
Yeah,
So
if it's even, I know it's not happening.
I mean,
yeah.
I saw an interview
I
from
don't know. When's
James
he releasing
Cameron.
the movies? 24,
Yeah.
20, is it
And
James
28?
Cameron said that he might even. Did you see his? He did an interview with
What?
Perry.
Oh, I saw
Very,
there was an
Nemeth?
interview. I saw that, but I didn't actually watch it.
He
yet.
said because
skimmed-
she
I
asked him.
skimmed
He was asked about.
So I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the straightest shooter. It's
he's
so,
a
Oh,
straight
yeah.
shooter.
so funny.
he
Tell you exactly.
yeah
what.
he was talking about like it's very specific how much money we need to make for this to even be profitable, how long this takes, and he was talking about how he already has the treatments that he's turned in the treatments,
Yeah.
the scripts for obviously they just finished 2 and 2's coming out,
Yep.
3 and 4,
Mm-hmm.
and how they've already filmed. I believe he said now. They filmed. Oh, I should have screenshot it. I think he said they filmed 95% of 3 already now. And because he's like they're filming all these, and he said that the model for this was he said the bar he said the bar for all of this was
it's
Peter
machine
Jackson's
now.
Lord. He said Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings was the
Yeah.
model, was the
Yeah.
bar, and he said it was I was blown away what Peter Jackson did with those films, and the reason why we're working ahead is what Peter Jackson showed. And he said now Peter had the advantage of Tolkien had written the books. He had the books there that he could show them,
Yeah.
hey, this is where
Yeah.
we're going. So he said, so for me to do that,
I've had to.
I had to tell these actors, and because he's like, we shoot it in blocks like you would a series. If you do a series, if you're on location, doesn't matter if you're
Yeah.
shooting episode 1 or you're shooting episode 9. If we're on location, we're getting our shots done
We'll
for
get
that
all of them.
location.
right.
He said that's the way we're doing it for these films. So he said they've even shot already, I believe, some of Avatar 4. They've already filmed some of it. Because he's like, because we need the location. He said it seems super difficult when you say that.
budget, I guess.
But he said that's why I had to write the treatments for him. I had to get him approved, send him to the
insane.
studio, and
That's
because
why
I
it
want to
took
show
12
our
years.
actors
Insane.
where he said I want our actors to know whether it comes through in the performance or not. It goes into their own mental preparation. I want them to know where their characters are going, even when they're filming 2. I want
Right.
them to know where they are in 4.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do an Avatar podcast?
I think we might have
An
to.
might have
Avatar
to.
pod- I love
He
what
did
he
say.
I love what he
saw
said
a
about
lot of people
Thanos.
got
Do you hear
to see
that?
it.
We
No,
talked-
what did
we
we
talking
say
about the
about Thanos?
special effects. He goes, "Come on, we did push the envelope in our special effects with the mocap and everything, but we're so far beyond." He said, "Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
I mean, Thanos, really? Come on. You think we're the same? That's not even close. What we're doing
Yeah.
is light years." And then I started reading they've been nominated for multiple awards. They've never won anything.
Yeah.
And Cameron and Avatar on their team is just cleaned up.
Yeah. It's he
Not
said
just this, but the other stuff
Yeah.
that they worked
yeah,
on.
yeah.
he
Yeah,
said
it
he
was
said
funny.
in
he was
this
just being honest.
he said in this about the effects.
But that's how he is. He's just like
He's
straight.
just like, yeah, he's
a
not
straight
trying to hurt
shooter.
anybody's feelings.
Yeah.
He's just
He
No.
said this about the treatments and about the treatments of the films that he sent in. He said, if people want to know, he said, yes, it is 100%. My plan is to get all of these made. It's again. He said, I understand that the market dictates like these
Right.
have to be successful. That's what you hear me talking about. We have to make money, or else the studio's not just going to waste money. They have to
Mhm.
make money. But he said, just to give you an idea of kind of the progression of things, he said, when I turned in our treatment for Avatar 2, for the second one, I got like 4 pages of studio notes back. And they're like, oh, here's some stuff. And he's like, so that's like, okay, think it's great. Here's some stuff. Wondering what you're doing here. Tweak some things. For Avatar 3, I got 1 page of notes back. He said, so we're getting a little bit better. For Avatar 4, I sent them the script. I got an email back from, and he named the people who it is, that is the head of the studio.
Mhm.
He said, I got an email back that all it said was, holy bleep. go, holy bleep, go picture.
Go.
And they were like, we wouldn't change anything. They said it's, and so he said, I can't say anything
Wow.
about,
Wow.
he's like, I can't say anything specifically about where it's going, but if you come with us for this ride, we have mapped out exactly where it's going.
Mhm.
And by all accounts, by my account, by the actors who I've talked to about it, and from the studio, we think that it's going to blow you guys away. If you think you know where this thing is going, you have no idea. That's what he said.
Wow.
So I'm like, that's so
So
exciting.
no wonder they spent so much on this next one, because even if people are like, "Oh, it was good," but they're so focused on the whole story as a whole that they're like, "Well, yeah, this is intentionally because it's going to build up to this."
going somewhere.
He also
That's
said
great.
that
It's gonna
it does
be a
take
killer
so
anyway.
long to make these that he said, I do understand that it is possible that I might eventually turn over the directing to someone else. He said also, heaven forbid, I die or something like that. This is why I wrote the treatments. So I want these
It's
to be
already
made
gonna be
with
there.
or without me. But he said it does take training. And if I get to he said, I can't make movies forever. He said, if I get to an age where I'm like, I probably
He
should
just
turn over.
dedicated the rest of his
He
life to
actually
Avatar.
said, I'm not beyond. He said, I'm not beyond. There's a ton of great young filmmakers out there
Mhm.
that know, and he kept saying, that know how to do visual effects right. He said, now, they don't know how to do it the way we do it. And this is his straight shooter. He said, they've never done
Exactly.
anything the way we do it. But they're smart guys that I've seen the
They
way that
figure
they
it out.
know how to
They can
use
learn
that.
it. Yeah, they can learn it.
level.
They know how to use that I would bring them in, and obviously it would be a lengthy training process to
That's
show
just
them
crazy.
how I do it. But that's very he said it is very possible. He said now, if I'm willing, I want to do the whole thing on my own. But if it gets to a point where just based on
Crazy.
time and release and stuff, I'm getting too old for that, I would definitely bring someone in and I would train them to do it so that they
Yeah.
can see out my vision.
Man,
but I just
that's
love that
crazy.
he's like, I'm going to the grave with this thing.
It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We bought
We're
our
going all the
tickets.
way.
about a month ago, December 27th,
I haven't. I need
10
to get
a.m.
them.
We're going.
Are you doing 3D
have
or
to
no?
go.
3D.
3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently,
There's
you
a
have
know
new.
we
There's
have
a
to
new.
go.
He's got a new technology in a handful of theaters. Probably you can see it in 3D without glasses.
Whoa.
So by the time 3 comes around, you'll probably go to a theater and watch a 3D movie with no glasses.
And by 4, I
That's
think they
insane.
said
Now that.
That's coming.
Now
You
that.
could do it right now in
Listen,
certain
I'll
parts
say
of the
it.
country.
I'll say it.
Certain
That
parts of
I
the
can get behind.
certain parts of the country you can do that.
well, and you can do it. I think they said you can actually currently do that in New York on Broadway.
You can see it.
You see
it's like
in 3D. It's
40.
like it's like the actual. It's like the actual
You
actors
feel
are
it.
on stage.
Yeah.
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 K-Town
It's
Gaming
awesome.
Zone says I've started watching Andor and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
Andor's
listen,
awesome.
You're gonna love it.
Awesome.
It's so
We
good.
love Andor. We love it.
Quick, let's rattle off because I know we've been going for a while. A couple back to Star Wars. A couple theories.
I have a theory.
predictions
I
for
have a
some
prediction.
of these shows.
I have a
Go.
prediction. We will have a Jedi turn to the dark side.
I like it.
In just
A
any of the
character,
shows.
a character we know or a new character?
A character that we know.
Really?
I believe we'll
Ahsoka?
It's time, right? Don't you think it's
The only
time? We
thing-
have nobody ever. Why does nobody ever turn to the dark side anymore? It's like
They flirted with it with Ray.
right,
Like they
but
wanted
they
Yeah.
don't
but
actually
they
do
didn't
it.
do it,
And I
yeah.
think it's going to be Ezra.
I think Ezra.
They teased
Wouldn't
it.
that
I
be
think it's gonna
awesome?
happen in Acolyte.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
I think it's gonna happen. In
I mean, I love
Acolyte.
Ezra, but wouldn't that be awesome?
It
That
would
would
be
be
a
great.
great.
Think about it.
That
Just
would be because he's been teased the
He'd
whole
be-
time with Maul.
he's
He got
always
tested.
playing
Well,
around.
because think of if we had actually
Man.
think of
I
if we
think
had actually
it'll
seen
happen in Acolyte.
Acolyte, yeah, maybe.
think of our actual surprise if we had seen the prequels first.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Oh, I
saw
know.
Dark and had no idea
It'd be
he went to the dark
insane.
side,
Yeah,
your mind would be blown. Especially
can't
going.
believe it.
You also would be like, you'd see episode 1 and be like, the kid's such a sweetheart. Episode 2 starts, dang, what happened to him? Quickly, you'd be like, that's the same guy.
Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, I see it. No,
Chad-
I see it. Look at him. I
Ezra
can
will
see it.
turn. All signs point to it.
Boom.
They're
It
falling
would be
behind you.
cool.
I think we'll see someone turn in Acolyte, obviously with the darker themes, but they're saying that it's a story of a Padawan and her master, and
Right.
that. And if you see, just if the idea of that show is that we're gonna dive into some of the Sith lore,
Yeah, I
I
think
could
it's set
see
up
that.
for that.
It's kind of set up for
Perfect for that.
oh, this would be a character that, if we're diving into that, might end up falling into that trap.
The only thing about Ezra turning is it's the same theory that we had with Luke in Mando. Like they
True.
would never let that happen. Luke could never be in Mando, and I would think my brain
Yeah.
goes they would never let Ezra turn. But I think that would be
But as soon as they
so
do it, they would
much
surprise
That
you.
would be
better.
crazy.
I don't know.
Also,
That would be crazy.
yeah, I think they also
That's
said
not my Ezra.
That's not my Ezra.
Ezra would never whine.
No,
Well, he
we're
does.
gonna be the opposite. Ezra's good the whole time. We're like, that's not my Ezra.
That's
My
not-
Ezra goes dark.
My Ezra goes dark, baby.
My Ezra
What if
never
Luke
forgets
is
that his
forced to
family was
kill
killed.
Ezra and Ben Solo witness it? Adds on to his turn.
Whoa.
That'd be crazy.
Wait, what
That'd
was
be
our?
cool.
What was?
They're
what was
saying
our,
they're saying this is such a great theory. So they're liking chat.
what was our?
All right.
What was our theory that Obi-Wan would have to kill? we went down a real dark episode.
I have to kill.
You have to
I
kill
did.
Luke so that he can't come and fall into the hands of the dark side.
Would rather
wasn't
kill him
that-
than let him
He would
turn.
rather kill him, even though we knew that Luke doesn't die.
We
Because
knew
we
he
can't-
didn't die, but
but
we,
we
It's
were
kinda
like
ruined
that
the
he
other
would be
movies.
threatened that he would.
He would kill
Um,
Luke rather than let him turn.
we said, would he actually do that? Would he want to do that?
I think he would
No way.
enjoy it.
He's like, finally, I've been waiting for this.
Take this. Take this, Owen.
Just mouthing off, and I'm just so sick.
This is for Uncle Owen. Always gave me too much mouth.
Backhanded saber.
But I think they did say in Acolyte is that we see Sith infiltrate the Jedi Order in Acolyte.
that's
That's what they said recently.
so we're gonna.
So we're gonna see whether we see an actual fall.
We saw
Like,
Reva,
again,
Reva.
I love
Yeah,
just
well,
even the little
kinda.
bit we saw.
Turn
That's why some of my favorite
Kinda.
stuff
We
we've
didn't
gotten
really
recently.
witness it, I guess.
right.
Some of my favorite stuff we got recently in Star Wars was Tales of the Jedi just giving more of Dooku's fall.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved seeing that.
I love just
Absolutely.
seeing people fall.
Absolutely.
Seeing
Nothing like a good failure.
nothing like a good failure,
Seeing
good
the
heartache,
evil
and a little bit of ego.
ego
No,
mixed in.
but
Well,
yeah, that was
other
that was
theories?
great.
Other theories for the shows? Oh, Bad Batch.
Yep.
Do you? I know you've been talking about it. Do you predict we'll see Alpha?
I feel like we got Fennec Shan in there already.
You got Fennec, yeah.
We've got the Cad Bane Boba Fett connection already.
Ooh, that was another.
Feels like it. It just feels like they're coming together.
So that was a
Boba
so you
Fett
predict
would-
we will get Boba Fett in Mando season 2? Or
Season 3?
Mando
I don't.
in Bad Batch?
This is when we brought this up last episode
don't
with
know.
Joe. Do we think that Boba's sidelined for right now, or are they? Or is Boba? We said one of my, even though I loved the show, one of my criticisms of Boba Fett was, I thought that it was a little muddled as far as like why Boba wanted to. And again, I just rewatched some of the episodes today, and he does
Why
say
did he-
like,
what was he
I
trying to
want
do?
He's like, I'm tired of taking orders from idiots that are going to get us killed.
Yeah.
But he also, at the same time, has this kind of heart transformation of he goes from definitely someone who was more what we would consider an evil character
yeah.
because he was always against our Han Solo. He
Yeah.
worked for Vader and the Emperor. And again, even though he was a hired hand,
Right.
we knew that Boba Fett was someone to be feared. He was like the most dangerous bounty hunter in the galaxy. And then he has his transformation. Even though I love like a lot of the lessons and stuff he learned, he definitely gets to more of what we would consider a more compassionate side, or he's
Yeah.
definitely not a fire first. He's goes through his
Yeah.
lessons while trying to ascend to the crime lord
Right.
thing. So it was always kind of like, well, now he's kind of become a better person, and also he's like, and now I took over the crime lord, and then I took over, I'm the daimyo and all this, and then he's kind of like,
Yeah, I don't want it.
actually, I think other people could do this job. I think it's time for
Yeah.
us to
Yeah.
bigger, better things. And then he like
I do
Please,
think
then we're like,
I do
oh.
think there's more in store.
kind
for
of felt like, well, you
Where
did
do
this
you
whole
think
thing
this was
just to
going?
just to take
Yeah,
over.
I do
Right.
think
So-
that is one thing I didn't like about the finale, but I do think they did that intentionally because their hopes is that there's more in store for Boba Fett and
Mhm.
Fennec. So
Yes. Do you think Boba and Fennec are in Mando season 3?
in
or is that-
Mando, in Mando season
In
3?
Mando season 3.
Mando season 3.
I think so. I think they call on him for another mission to Mandalore or something like that. Or
they
maybe
just keep owing each other one.
or maybe
Yeah.
he just
I
wants
will you one. I
more
will you.
of just wants Boba's maybe perspective or history on
I am Boba Fett.
on the Mandalorians. Like, what's
Yeah.
your take on the Mandalorians?
Right.
What makes you different? Why did you not join a group, or why
Mhm.
are you solo? Like, what is your history?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he's being told that he's been, grew up from a cult.
Yeah.
It seems like he would
Right.
want more information, and someone he could trust right now is
Mhm.
Boba. So, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think it could happen though.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Boba's in it, Mando season 3. I also wouldn't be surprised if he's not in it. I think it could go either way.
That's one of the things about Andor I thought was so great. I never found myself ever once going, "Oh, I hope."
Never
No.
once.
It
That's
felt
why
like
the
that.
show.
I
The show
mean,
was
it's fine
so
to
In fact,
good.
it's
even
fine to
just
dream
the-
about it, but
even
it was
just the-
refreshing to be
yeah.
like, it
And I
just
will say,
stands.
I think all of us, and
It
again, it's the nature of the
stands.
show. Book of Boba Fett, I probably felt that too much. That
Yeah.
we were always
Yeah.
guessing, well, who's going to be in the
Who?
finale? And so as the
Yep.
finale was progressing, and what's funny because we already had we got Chris Santon, we got Cad Bane, we got all of this stuff. We got Boba riding a Rancor
Luke,
while
yeah,
Mando has a
and-
dark saber, and Luke is training Grogu.
And
We got
Ahsoka.
all this stuff, and we're still going. I think Han's in the finale. I think
could
Kira's in
be
the
in
finale.
there.
Well,
It's
part of that too
probably-
was that rumors were going around.
It was
No,
on the
like,
Internet Movie
Uncle and I
Database.
literally
It was
both
on
saw.
there.
We
It
both
was
saw
on
the
the
same thing
Internet
that said
Movie
that he was on
Database.
there.
That's insane.
So, but it was funny. But because of that, it did lessen my viewing experience because the whole time I remember
Yeah.
watching the finale and going, "Dang, there's only 15 minutes left.
It's not
I
gonna
don't
happen."
think that's coming."
Yeah.
Instead of
Well, I
being
didn't
like,
even know that.
instead
I
of
didn't
being
even know
like
that. You guys told
watching
me
the
that
whole
after.
time.
After I didn't
Yeah,
want to.
instead of
Yeah.
just enjoying all the craziness.
Um,
But it was nice
yeah.
that Andor didn't need that.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's part of what made it,
Yeah.
fresh and new. K-Town says, is Acolyte the High Republic or Old Republic? Acolyte is High Republic.
End of the High Republic.
The end of the High Republic. Yep.
100 years before Phantom Menace.
Yep, 100 years before Phantom Menace. Yeah, so is there a Plagueis
Could be
reference?
some Plagueis.
Could be some Plagueis. We don't know how long they live. What's their time? What's their
Immune.
yeah?
Immune. So yeah, you don't
What's
know.
what's their lifespan, life expectancy?
It's gotta be
there
anyone
could be.
that's an alien
story.
in my book
Especially
probably lives longer than a human.
Especially
Yeah,
if
they
you're
do. What's the
infiltrating.
point of being an alien if you don't live
Yeah,
longer?
you're
Exactly. Who would
infiltrating-
choose alien?
2 years.
The Jedi Order.
You grow your.
2 years.
If they're
That's it.
infiltrating the Jedi Order, how could Plagueis not?
That would be an-
in-
that
how
would be
could
an
Plagueis not
awesome-
be involved.
That would be an awesome character. They only live 5 years. That's their whole life. They're born as adults
You almost kind of
and
excuse
they
them.
infuse them with information, just like the Matrix.
I
But
like
they
it.
only live 5 years, and they have a database
They're
of
just
knowledge.
warriors.
As soon as you're born, you get all the knowledge of everybody, and then you're sent off to do your thing, and that's it. You get 5 years, and that's your whole life.
Wow.
Or 1 year. Why not one?
It's almost like
one day.
It's just it'll be awesome.
honestly
It's
like
a
the
mayfly.
lifespan of a lot of
He's
the
dead
clones.
tomorrow.
it's like a lifespan of a lot of the clones.
Yeah,
Right.
it really
They were
is.
trained, bred to do one thing, and then they go out in battle, and a lot of them
That's
didn't
That's
survive.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other predictions? Ahsoka predictions? Anything?
Well, here's
Ooh,
I've got a
there-
prediction.
one of the crew will die.
Theories.
Ooh, I like
I
that.
don't
One
know.
of the
I
main
don't- No, I don't
characters?
think so.
Sabine? You think
No,
Sabine's going?
no,
You
I
heard it
don't
here
think so.
first. Uncle thinks Sabine's.
I
going
don't
out.
think so. They
Here's
got
what I think.
try to run that around for season 2
I
first.
think
Yeah.
that a young Ben Solo is in Mandalorian season. No, I don't.
Ooh.
Here's a question I have. We can say if we think this would happen or not.
Mace.
Do we think that we will get this? Kind of is an open ended, but do we think that we will get a character that has appeared, one of the major characters that has appeared in a movie, and one of the major actors that has appeared in a movie, in any of the television
Shows?
series that are coming
Ooh.
out? So here's possible examples.
As in,
Would
not
be like
Luke?
would be like a Jin Urso in, or even like a Galen Urso
Yeah.
in, or Krennic in.
I do think we'll get Krennic.
Krennic
Krennic.
in
I
season
definitely
2
think
of,
we'll get
of
Krennic
Andor.
in season 2.
Start leaning into
could
the
be-
Death Star.
Yeah.
It could be a
Palpatine.
trying to think of some time periods that could possibly be
Vader.
like
Not, I'm just naming
Akira,
characters.
Yeah.
like Akira, a
Yoda.
Lando, a
Yeah.
Yoda, or any of this, a Han. In any
Well,
of those time periods
do
that
we
are
get
post Return
Yoda?
of the Jedi.
Do
that
we
are-
get Yoda in Acolyte?
That's
If
what I
they're
was thinking.
infiltrating it's
I
end
can
of
see
High
Yoda in
Republic.
Acolyte.
I'm gonna
End of High Republic.
Yeah.
They're infiltrating the Jedi Order. Why would Yoda not?
But
I'm
will
gonna call
they
it the
have to-
Mace rule. The Mace rule is it can't be. It has to be.
Yeah.
They can't do it without that.
But will they? How will
has
they?
to
Will
be
they
it.
de-age him, or how will they?
they de-age the puppet.
They always use the
But
original.
that is a
puppet.
good question, though. If they're going
De-age.
back, is it animated or is it puppet, or is it prequel style?
I think they're gonna
Yoda.
keep. They gotta keep puppet.
I think
going,
they're
don't
keeping-
they?
I
When
don't
they
know,
went back-
but it depends though, because if they're
Maybe
trying to
not.
portray him as younger and he's actually a Jedi with the mobility wise,
Right.
Well,
they have
here's
to animate him.
Well, he's gonna
well,
jump around
well.
and-
That's what I'm saying.
Here's
If
what you
he's
forget,
younger
though.
Yoda.
I don't know though.
Could be
Here's what
both.
you might forget.
Ooh, what have we forgotten?
Tell me
That
what I forgot.
originally in episode 1, he was a puppet.
He
Plagueis
was.
versus
Nate, you missed
Yoda.
that. You missed that bombshell of.
He was, I remember
Wikipedia.
that.
He was a puppet first in
Yeah,
episode
they-
1,
Right.
and then they actually
Yeah,
went
but-
back and reanimated
but he
and
didn't-
put him in.
But that's because
It looked really.
But he
really
it
wasn't.
looked bad.
He
It's 'cause
wasn't
it looked
doing.
bad. He looked more
flips
like
and
Yaddle.
stuff. But he wasn't doing flips and fighting.
Well, who's to say that we'll see Yoda fighting? We could see Yoda just as the sage Jedi, some council stuff.
He will
Because,
be
listen,
around
if Yoda's not
what?
fighting, I don't want him.
700 years. How old will he be?
Youthful 800.
700.
Yeah, he'll be
700. No.
100
Oh,
years
he's like
before, and
750.
then so 100. Yeah.
770?
Yeah.
So he's
100
still
before
not,
Phantom Menace.
Still not
yeah.
a young.
Well,
Yeah.
they got Grogu flipping as a puppet.
That's true.
That's true.
They've got stuff to get him. He got some stuff. Now he doesn't have a saber in his hand.
They
while
got
he's
some
doing it.
stuff. They got
They got some
stuff.
stuff. They got stuff.
I think they'll.
Don't underestimate
What's the
Johnny
hell is
Fast.
stuff?
I think it could be a combination.
Yeah. I think
Although
Yeah,
it's hard
combo.
to do. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
so. Well, so I love that we're like
He's not
how.
in it.
I love that they were like we're already
we
talking.
know?
How will they film
Yoda.
this scene that we know will happen of
Has to
Yoda
be-
fighting with a lightsaber
Yeah,
in this
it's
time
gonna be an
period?
puppet. Is
Acolyte.
it
And
gonna
how
be
old
live
will he
action?
be? Like we
Uh,
don't have any idea if he's even.
Kids,
in it.
this is
gotta be the
Plagueis,
Mace rule.
Plagueis versus Yoda.
Oh man.
Imagine.
Give me just Plagueis
There's
versus
Jack says
Anybody.
maybe a mix of both. It could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
no idea. Any other predictions before we wrap up, or theories for Ahsoka? Or
I predict that it's going to be a good year for the Star Wars Guys podcast.
I like that prediction.
Yeah.
I feel like
What other
people,
shows
people
we
will
got?
finally love us.
Yeah.
I feel like people will subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smash.
It will smash.
Little
the
smash
notification.
that notification.
And I feel like I also feel like we're just getting better. Our takes are better.
We just get
Takes are
We're better people.
better
I feel like we are better. No, I don't know. That was dumb. I don't know.
Okay, so last thing.
yeah,
Theories.
I don't know.
Last
Bad
thing
year
for
us.
theories.
I'm out.
Going off of Pedro Pascal's comment on
You're talking. You pointed me. Going
Going
off
off
of Pedro Pascal
of
here.
nothing
Pedro
that Mike just
Pascal's
said.
comment on secrets that they're holding out on for
Oh.
Mando season 3. What could that possibly
What
be?
is it? Maul. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
If one was Grogu, one was
Unfortunately, we've
Luke.
seen them all. We know
Coming
them all.
back.
One was Grogu, one was Luke, and now
I
big
think
one.
it's
I could kick a couple ideas around.
kick him.
Kick.
I'll kick.
Kick him.
Kick it.
One, you mentioned cloning earlier.
Kid loves
If
cloning.
we're swinging for the fences,
I
That's what
dangled.
we
I
do.
dangled that
there
cloning
could be
carrot
an
out in front
there
of
could
what
be
we
a
do.
confirmation of a Snoke. In like we got a
Ooh,
little
yeah.
glimpse
They
of
definitely
the
teased in the
tube.
facilities.
They teased it in the
Yeah.
glimpse of the
Right.
tank,
Mhm.
you know, but maybe a confirmation of a Snoke, like we actually see whether it's still in the tank, but actually like a clear shot of like that's Snoke, or even a Palpatine
Ooh.
somewhere lurking about with the cloning stuff. I don't think.
I think the
Palpatine's
cloning-
way more of a stretch.
Just
Yeah.
laugh.
I
My
think
brain
cloning-
went to a Michael Scott. we're just throwing around the word A before a Luke or a Han or
yeah. Or a Leia.
You know,
or
or-
Bynes.
that was the exact one. The skill of a Marks or a Bynes.
It's such a good reference that he's naming these heroes, and it's Amanda Bynes. Is it?
Oh, man.
Of a
Chat-
Bynes or a Hope.
Or a Hope.
It's a Bynes or a Hope.
Jack
Going
saying
Bob
what could
Hope and Amanda Bynes.
Jack
Of
saying
a
what could
Bynes or
possibly
Hope.
what could top Luke? That's true. What I don't know
Oh my god.
if
Wow.
even if they've got these secrets that
Apparently
you know,
a rock.
I don't know if anything could top
Killed him. He
Luke's.
died on a rock. That beat him.
That's true.
He just disappeared.
No Sith.
Yeah.
No,
can do
I'm
it.
just kidding. What
Also,
could? What could?
Can we talk about Obi-Wan?
People
think
laugh, but
anything could.
Snoke's a very
Siths are a
important
speciality.
character. Yeah.
Except for the last time you fought
Except
a
for
Sith,
all of the
you were
time.
unconscious. He's losing limbs. Not only are they not your specialty, they're clearly your weakness. And also,
You
Obi-Wan
fight them
goes
very rarely.
are a
And
speciality, and then he gets defeated
Yeah.
by him again. 5 seconds later, Obi-Wan is being crushed by the balcony falling on him as you know, Palpatine's saying, "Leave him, or you'll never make it. His fate will be the same as ours." It's literally only Anakin who will then
Yeah.
become a Sith who is able to destroy the Sith, but Obi-Wan does not have a good track
No,
record with
no,
the
no,
Sith
no,
at
no.
all.
No.
In fact, it's only Anakin who he finally ends up beating, and that's just because he knows all his moves. He trained him.
That's true.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Although Obi-Wan is great,
Chat
they're not
saying
special. A speciality.
Snoke's
Snoke is the new Maul.
people laugh, but Snoke's a very important character.
He
Snoke,
is.
Snoke is the villain that has the least backstory.
there's a lot of talk about
So
there.
I definitely think at some point we'll get
I love Snoke.
confirmation that Snoke is involved
Snoke.
with Mando,
I'll kill
the
you.
cloning stuff.
Yeah.
Not Mando directly, but the Mando show.
I've
Um,
died before.
It says so did Darth Maul, but look at him now. Yeah, kind of. Yep. And
That's
then
true.
he became such a huge character.
I love it. I would love more Snoke.
Yeah.
More Andy Serkis as Snoke too.
Absolutely.
Give it. Give it.
Yeah, it says Maul was supposed to be thrown away, but the fans resurrected him. Yeah, I know that was a big push on George too. Wanted to bring him
George
back.
was- yeah.
George was a big front runner on bringing back Maul.
well,
you know, getting him back
sort
involved.
Of, you know, sort of has spider legs or
Clone
whatever.
Wars.
Yeah,
But
no, I
but
love
yeah,
it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's Snoke. Maybe it's a different cape. Maybe it's a Cal Kestis. Maybe it's
A Bynes.
a Bynes or a Hope.
Maybe
I
it's
was
a
just
Maul.
rewatching-
Cal Kestis.
Randomly, it
Yeah,
popped in my
great.
head of the scene today, and I just looked up like 2 hours before this podcast. Of I YouTubed the scene of Michael Scott talking with Oscar, and Oscar's telling him about surpluses and how they have to spend the money by the end of the day. And he comes in and he's like, Michael, and he says this thing, and he goes, "Why don't you explain?" And Michael's like proud of himself. "Why don't you explain this to me like I'm an 8-year-old?" When he looks at the camera, like, this would be a good test for Oscar.
Yeah.
And then he says the thing about like, well, you have this much. Obviously, that's this surplus. You have to spend this by the end of the day, or else it's, you know.
You lose it.
And he goes, "Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?" Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
You have a lemonade stand.
You have a lemonade stand.
Daddy
Mommy gave you
gave you-
this amount. Mommy, dad gave you this amount. If you don't spend it, Then next year, Mike goes, "I'll be 6." So next year, I'll be 6. And next year,
It'll only
Mike
give you
will think that's
$9
only
because he thinks
$9.
that's all you need to understand.
And he goes, "Only $9." Mike goes, "Hey!" Oh, he's like starting to. Next
I
year,
love
next year, I'll be
Burlington
6.
Coat Factory.
Yeah, then next
That's
summer,
the
I'll be
scene.
6.
So good.
So
So
good. Burlington Coat Factory.
All right.
That's our
well,
other cast. Avatar
love it.
cast on the list for 23, and
The Michael Scott
Michael
cast.
Scott.
the most inappropriate episodes of The Office cast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How fast can our podcast be canceled?
Yeah.
Yes. How fast
Tune
can we
in
be
to find
cast
out.
aside?
Cast aside.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
2023 Star Wars ranking and theories. If you guys want to engage on here on our channel on YouTube, if you're listening to this back, make sure to check the channel too. We post some things on there, whether it's questions, polls, whatever it is. You guys can stay engaged that way. Obviously, we got our live show every week. But if you haven't already, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend about us here at Star Wars.
Keep an eye
Noise.
out for our release of the Night Sisters track.
Our
Coming
Night
soon
Sisters, we
to
do have our
wherever
Night
music is
Sisters
streamed.
track.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a Christmas giveaway,
That's
but
a
apparently we're telling them now.
it was
That's it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. And as always, may the Force be with you.
You know, I don't like saying, you know, it's cost, profit, everything. It gets everywhere.
It's just
of course that's Jay Leno playing
This is Jay Leno, of
young
course,
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, if that one is walking
Skywalker
on takes the lead.